Preparing to live stream the meeting.
And
Property is under
Preparing to live stream the meeting.
Bobby Hankins, Hankins.
Okay, we're just about live here.
Yeah.
Dan and B.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. That's it. So. I guess this last name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hankins.
Okay, I think I got up live, getting ready to live stream. Right now, I got a camera and laptop. Me, and I got a camera facing out there.
Coming through the Bluetooth.
The live right now.
Hmm?
Are we live?
Yes, we are live. Okay, at this time, I'd like to start the Board of Directors meeting. Dated today in April 2023. And I'd like to begin with a head count. I myself, Randy Powell, here. William Rosenbaum, present.
Susan Hunt, present. Lucinda Albright, present.
Okay, we have 4 members present. We have a quorum. And in case someone hasn't noticed, we're missing 1 board member, Becky Barber. Becky has resigned as of, I believe, Friday. So Becky's no longer on the board. So of her own choosing. So we'll continue this meeting and then we'll adjust later on. Okay, first I'd like to start with a reading of the board minutes by the secretary.
The last month's meeting was kind of long, so I'll try to rush this a little bit. All right, March 19th, 2023, all 5 board members were present for that meeting. Randy disclosed that Melissa Rowe had resigned from the board for personal reasons during that. Reading the February board meeting minutes, there was a motion to accept. Initially, William did not approve the minutes as presented, requested that the proposal was not voted on from Steve for this construction equipment. An addendum in March meeting minutes after discussion and new business voted to accept after excluding first Steve Farrell proposal since not voted on yet. Architectural control, Randy Powell, architectural forms must be submitted with complete info prior to placing buildings or structures on properties. Submit with photos and a description, measurements, all info must be received, otherwise it cannot be approved. Loose dogs are becoming more of an issue now. Article 7, all pets must be leashed or contained at all times. Properties with trash and debris, Article 11, once a member is notified of a violation, they have 15 days to comply and clean up. Harbor Patrol, Randy Powell, a reminder that the speed limit is 15 miles per hour on side roads, 25 miles per hour on main roads. Many complaints of member vehicles traveling too fast. Board is requesting that members please slow down. Mail has been stolen recently in the harbor. Please take photos or check cameras for any crime if you witness. Tampering with the mail is a federal crime. Advise have someone pick up packages that may be delivered while members are not at home. Have someone retrieve your mail if you're out of town. Randy had a ride-along scheduled with Don Taylor, but it had to be rescheduled. Secretary report, Susan Hunt. Reminder that board members can receive assistance in March at the office for Appfolio Health. No checks are accepted. You need to open your portals. No bids had been received on the lots up for bid. We are still looking for someone that may be interested in trading on Appfolio. Advise members to start thinking about nominees for vacating board positions in July. At the time, there was a suggestion to keep Becky Barber on as a paid consultant after stepping down in July if no volunteers trained on Appfolio. The income statement, treasurer report, the income statement was voted on and approved. The general fund at that time had $104,336.91. The road fund had $90,688.97. Total of back dues prior to 2022 received this year, $2,694.27. Back dues received for 2022 this year, $1,318.43. Total of 2023 dues received as of March, $24,740.36. Total income, all sources, $29,784.79. Total expenses, $12,454.60. As of our last meeting, we were still $59,000 short of what we will minimally need for the budget for 2024. Still waiting to see what comes in by the end of April. We started with approximately 935 property owners and have lost over 40 in the last year. The current total in March was 891. The delinquency report, that will resume May 1st. We took it down for March and April because it won't be accurate with dues being paid right now. March 1st, we noted that the dues were put in the portals. No statements were mailed unless we received a self-stamped envelope to send the statement and a pay slip. All dues need to be paid before April 30th. Starting May 1st, they will start accruing 20% annual interest. To date, we have 62% of portals open. We hope that that number increases. Pools and Parks, Randy Powell reported for Melissa. 4 months left until board election, looking for interested persons to appoint to finish out the current pool park term. Early May tentative goal to open pool. Approximate cost to open by Hearth and Pool is $300. Reminder, there are no volunteers to run the pool and equipment due to state laws unable to open the pool. Susan will put a message on the website to ask for volunteers. Repairs still needed in the bathrooms, parts on hand for 2 new sink faucets, drain pipes, and parts for a urinal. Randy will do inventory before the end of the month on chemicals on hand for pool. If we pre-order before the end of March, we get a 10% discount. Update by treasurer, $1,000 in budget for pool expenses, $1,650 additional if Jeans AquaPro pays for their contract. Bathrooms we need a bathroom volunteer to clean. Treasurer to reach out to a volunteer cleaning them prior to closing to see if she's going to continue to clean. William suggested using road fund fees to assist in pool costs. Randy reminded that road funds are specific for road repair use only. Discussion that Jeans AquaPro may not proceed with contract agreement if bathrooms cannot be repaired or the pool. Road and Utilities by William Ossenbaugh. Credit application submitted to APAC and Express Equipment. No answer from Express yet. William, discussion with Express owner, damage due to misuse, non-return of rental on time, or no prompt payment to credit account service will be terminated. William was asked to provide a copy of a contract from Express to compare terms and conditions with the proposal from Steve Farrell. Discussion regarding non-replied emails between board members. We need better communication. William waiting on good weather and time off on weekends to order gravel and begin work. New business at the last meeting, public POA meeting scheduled for April 22nd at 2 p.m. Board meeting at 1. Need 2 volunteers to oversee the sign-in sheet for the meeting for voting rights and current due status. During that meeting, we received a text for 2 volunteers. Agenda needed by April 7th for the next BOD meeting. Members were encouraged to submit questions they want to discuss. The bathroom opening date, there was an Easter function social group on March 25th. After open for this, we'll leave the bathrooms open with the understanding they may close on occasion for repairs. Please be flexible. The board will communicate it as needed for closing and updates. Motion and vote by the 4 board members present agreed to open on March 25th and leave open, fixed as needed. All passed with 4 yes votes. Update on county auction, 12 notices received for June 2023 county auction on Lake Tinkler Harbor lots. All 12 lots have liens. Randy's going to attempt to put signs on properties to disclose there's a lien. County does not advise lien on file. William checked with Roberts Quarry about a quantity discount. The contact was on vacation awaiting a call back. William said he prefers to use Roberts Quarry. APAC does not deliver on Saturdays. William can only work Friday and Saturdays. William will pursue office area repairs on the road contingent upon weather prior to the next meeting. Discussion regarding road work that still needs to be started, delays, contractor versus volunteers, renting equipment versus using donated equipment. The discussion regarding the proposal by Steve Farrell, board agreed need updated proposal with more specifics on costs and issues that may be due to damage. Another volunteer offered personal equipment on Facebook. William has not spoken to him yet. Please contact William if you have any donations. Appfolio update. There is a member interested in training for Appfolio, already practicing in the site and doing lessons. Once training is completed, we'll need to obtain a bond and add to the bank account. Social group is looking for Easter donations. Discussion regarding road material. Randy suggested geotextile material to stabilize. William advised crusher run is best. Need a roller with express. APAC will dump spread and roll as spread. Becky suggested bigger rock base and crusher run on top. Discuss the proposal again from Steve Farrell. Breakage due to misuse, need to reword per William. Keys available to use on Steve's equipment versus rental equipment, and need to reimburse fuel. He has a skid steer in addition to a backhoe, so we won't pay for delivery, no deposit to use his equipment. Motion to end meeting, all agreed, meeting adjourned. Sorry, that was simple.
Oh, okay, so you can see there's a lot of things going on in the neighborhood. It's pretty busy. Can I get a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make a motion.
You have a second? You have a second? All in favor of approving? Hands up. We got four ayes, so that they are approved. I want to take a step backwards and say that we did pick up a volunteer to continue the remainder of Melissa Rowe's term when she left, and we got Lucinda right here. And so she is now our pools and parks person. Anything regarding pools and parks, she's the one to talk to. Glad you volunteered.
Yes.
We got a lot of stuff going on. So welcome to the board, everybody. Okay, first item on the agenda here is architectural control. That would be myself. Architect control is busy. It's warming up. As things are warming up, I got more and more people wanting to do things in the lots, cleanings, renovation, pulling structures on the lots. Any modifications to lots, such as pulling structures or trail. I'm not talking about like an overnight trailer. I'm talking about if you plan on bringing a trailer on your lot and keeping it there at least for the season, you need to go through architect control to make sure it follows the restrictions in the neighborhood. I do have a few people who did submit architect control in their plans. Plans were approved, but their structures were not placed where they're supposed to. One person already moved their property back away from the road. The others in process of it. So if you put your property where your structure where it's not supposed to be, it can get expensive moving it back. So I suggest sticking to the plan that's approved and save yourself some money. We do have some structures in the neighborhood that are popping up without approval. There's a large mobile home. I'm not going to say where it is, but it just popped up middle of the week. And we tried contacting the owners on it. They were given a phone call. They haven't called back. So They are in violation of restrictions. And we previously agreed that we were going to start a fine system. And if they don't fill the paperwork appropriately, they could be susceptible to a monthly fine for not submitting the paperwork. So, so I'm just asking people to follow the rules because everybody in the neighborhood combined created these rules and approved them. If you're in violation of rules, you're basically violating everybody's wishes in the neighborhood. We have rules for a reason to make sure we have a well put together neighborhood. It doesn't get too far away from the standard that we set, and it doesn't end up being every person for himself. So I'm just gonna say, if you need to put a property in the neighborhood, make sure you fill the architect control, make sure you get approved, and that's before you put it on. Don't place it on and then submit your paperwork. So okay, we've already discussed the violation notice is already placed on the web page, and it gives a list of fines. We really hadn't been pushing the fines much. We've been trying to push the people into complying rather than pushing fines, but some people they just don't want to follow the rules no matter what we do. And I fear that those people may eventually be getting fined for it. And they were given many ample warnings before, and they still refuse to follow the rules, so they may end up getting fines. And what it is, the fines will be assessed against their lots, and they'll they'll accrue interest over time. And come next year, you know, they might have pay a little bit more than they normally would. So that may be coming up down the line. Harbor Patrol next. Lots more people showing up in the neighborhood. There's a lot of strangers that we don't know who they are, cruising up and down the road. I'm not sure if they're looking for properties, looking for a friend or what, but I need people to have an eye out for these people roaming around the neighborhood. There are people casing properties. You're looking for something to steal. We had a table there in the back corner that was in our park that someone tried to walk off with. And so they're definitely taking things off people's yards, you know. So watch out for your neighbors. Not all your neighbors live here full time, so keep an eye out for your neighbors. Report anything suspicious, take a picture, write the license plate down, anything that might help, because you might hear a few days later that some property ended up missing, and you might have been the witness that's seen them driving away with it. So I'm asking everybody, keep alert for yourself, keep alert for your neighbors. Also, there's I know there was some gunshots probably about a week and a half. I heard them myself. It sounded like 10 rapid handgun shots over near Muleshoe Road area. But it sounds like it might have been somebody shooting down a stray dog. So somebody's dog's running around loose in violation of the restrictions, and now they might not have a dog anymore. I still don't know whose dog it was. So, but you got a stray dog, that's in violation. You can't be written up for that. So, but it's also, you shouldn't be shooting in a residential area. People live very close to each other, and those bullets can travel, you know, 1,000 feet easily. You could end up going through someone's wall and hit them in the head when they're in bed or watching TV. So I'm asking that you not fire your weapons in the community here. So I believe there's a state law against that also. You can't be fined. I believe it's a minimum of misdemeanor. So please don't shoot your guns in the neighborhood. So, all right. Next, okay, dumpsters out behind the building here. There's signs all over the place back there. Household goods only. Household, that's normal day-to-day trash. Does not mean you can place construction materials in there. You can't place your chairs, your couches, your TV set, cans of paint. Those kind of things cannot go in the dumpsters. We have a transfer station probably about 6-7 miles away up in Keys on Qualls Road. You can probably take them up there and dispose of them. So again, and also we have some people outside the neighborhood who've been seen trying to dump into our dumpsters also. If they're not members of this neighborhood, they shouldn't even be down in this neck of the woods. These are private roads back here. And they are not members of the POA, so they shouldn't even be back here. So keep an eye up, anybody dumping trash back there, they shouldn't be. Write the license plate down, description of the vehicle, what they threw back there, and turn it in to either myself or Harbor Patrol for action. Same thing with the dumpsters. They will not pick up the dumpsters if they're overflowing. If they're overflowing, they will not pick them up. If it's full one day for any particular reason, maybe try the next day. We do have 2 pickups a week. We got pickups on Fridays. And we have pickup again on Monday. There's a lot of things going in dumpsters on the weekends. So try to arrange your dump offs between those times when they're full. Holidays, we do have an extra roll off back there usually for holidays. Next one's coming up on Memorial Day weekend. And we'll have roll offs for the extra crowd coming in the harbor for that weekend. Oh. Okay, any questions at all concerning Arch Patrol or Harbor Patrol for me? No, there's lots going on. I'd just ask that people know the restrictions are, they're posted on the webpage. Anybody can look at them via the phone, the computer, they can download a copy. It's not a secret what the restrictions are. I just ask people to follow them. Thanks. Next item, we have the Vice President, Susan Hunt.
I really didn't have very much, just between us. My agenda says to discuss the treasurer position. It was, I suggested at the last meeting that we keep Becky on as, retain her for help. She's since resigned and she did not want to do that after we had some discussions. So I've already been in contact with Appfolio Friday and I had some good conversation with a couple people and I'm not Becky. She's a whiz bang on Appfolio, but I'm going to try to keep I am so sorry. Excuse me. I'm going to try to keep the train on the track. I know how to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to get in there and do a lot more training and get more familiar with some of the things. But anyway, I have reached out to Appfolio and they're going to kind of help me whenever I need something come up that I can't do on my own. So that's all I have really for myself. Oh, I do have one other thing. We need 2 signatures at the bank. So I was thinking you and I might be the best for that. Maybe one day on your lunch next week, we can meet over at the bank and I need to turn in.
Which bank would be?
Armstrong.
In Tahlequah?
In Tahlequah, yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
So we'll just arrange that. We need to sign new signature cards and we need a second signer on the account. And then I used to have a notary, but it expired. So I'm going to go ahead and get that reinstated. I don't know how long that will take, but I will get that reinstated because I know from time to time we need a notary for different things. So I'll look into that and try to get that squared away as soon as I can.
Okay, that sounds good. And like say, and then as soon as we get a full-time treasurer back, then we'll switch the sign
Yeah.
card for that person. But this is just temporary, 2.5
Right.
months.
Right.
Okay, understand that. All right.
Becky gave me all of her treasurer report stuff, so I have that to share for her section.
Do we have, and you've got her notes from Becky. Is there anything you want to say in regards to that other than how we are able to say how we're doing on the collections for
Yeah,
2023?
she's given me the status as of April 19th. She put it all on here, so I'll share that. You want me to do that now?
Yes.
Okay. So Becky prepared a treasurer statement and provided, so this is, I believe this is all effective as of 4/19. I got a difference of notes here, just one second. Okay, this is the same. Okay, as of 4/19, the income statement, the general fund had 115,624.94. The road fund had $87,238.03. Total of back dues prior to 2022 received this year, $4,020.98. Back dues received for 2022 this year, $1,656.75. Total of 2023 dues received as of April 19th was $40,534.30. Total of all funds received $47,132.92. I'm just going to read this the way it was typed instead of trying to interject on it. With the back dues collected from last year, $45,289.68, and the lot sales of $22,449.06 for a total of $67,738.74. This is what the POA currently is using for the rest of this year to pay the balance of $63,275.34. So there's a little over a $4,000 difference there of bills we're expecting to pay. The amount we've received from 2023 dues are what the POA will need to be able to survive on next year. The 2024 budget should be based on what is spent this year, but as a guesstimate, the POA will need $85,000 and we only have $47,000 plus right now. The POA can expect to receive $86,095.80 based on the amount of payments made last year. But to date, I've only received $40,534.30. We are missing $45,561.50 to be able to finish the year 2024. That's an accurate snapshot. That's numbers are numbers. The delinquency report, we will have that back up on the bulletin board May 1st. It'll be on the bulletin board and I'll have it up on the website. CPA status, we had one last tax filing. We were originally told it would be due by March 31st, but it ended up being April 18th. And obviously with a lot of taxes needed to be done around that time, they extended our filing out for a little bit. I was told when I talked to them, they didn't think we were going to owe anything, but they did an extension just so they had time to review it correctly. We did receive another penalty invoice from Oklahoma State Commission. This may continue off and on throughout the year, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I think that penalty was $21.08. I didn't jot it down. There is a lot that we put in foreclosure. There will be a sheriff's sale in May. For some reason, I want to say it's May 25th. That may not be correct, but there's a sheriff's sale in May for the property we foreclosed on. You might want to start watching classifieds if you're interested in bidding. And that's all I have on the treasurer report.
So approximately, just approximation, we've got about half of the 2023 people have paid.
Yeah.
So about half the people have paid their 2023 dues, the other half have not. And as of May 1st, they will start receiving penalties of 20% charges, late fee charges per month.
Late fees and interest. Yeah.
Late fees and interest. So folks still got a little time before the increases start.
I will mention this too, because you saw this Thursday evening. I worked up here and it was busy. Most of the nights it was kind of, people in and out, but I was busy on the phone and people coming into the office to get pay slips or pay or, get direction, whatever. I set a couple people up on Appfolio. So I couldn't do it this coming Thursday because of personal reasons, but I am going to go ahead and do it Friday night. And instead of doing it 4 to 6, I'm going to go up there from 2 to 6. It'll be the end of the month. Maybe it'll be payday for some people and I'm going to make myself available. I think that's the 28th. Friday's the 28th, I believe. So I'm going to be, and I'll put this on the website and on Facebook. I'm going to be up there Friday from 2 to 6. And if you can't get there during that time, just call me. I'll try to work with you. I want to try to help anybody I can that, needs help paying or directions or whatever. So Friday, 2 to 6.
Okay, yeah. And I just want to add that a lot of the board members have volunteered to sit at the office on weekdays and weekends and sit there and wait for people to show up to pay their bills, or hand them pay slips. And I've come from my house up to the office just to get a pay slip for people. And one person, I drove out to his house to drop it off because he's elderly. So we're taking steps to try to help people as much as we can, but they have to contact us to get help.
Yeah,
So,
that's all I had on that.
okay, next item, we got the treasurer income pool and park, which will be Lucinda, and if you need any assistance, just let me know. So,
We ordered all the chemicals for the summer. We got those in. That way we were able to get our 10% discount. They are in our building and we're ready to go.
that's great, and then we have the pool opening, but I mean, the pool opening, that's when they come and take the cover off.
Yes, that'll be May 1st.
May 1st, okay.
That way we can give the pool, have plenty of time to get all the chemicals in there, get them correct, make sure the pool's clear. And that way, we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I know there's a few little, probably get some cement for pools and probably touch up a little rough spots on the sidewalks and all.
Yeah, hoping we can get some volunteers to help us with that. I'm not real good with cement work.
Yeah,
I'll do my best.
yeah. How we doing on the volunteers? You don't have any
I
volunteers?
have not had any volunteers
Okay, when we
For the
do
summer.
see,
for the summer.
yeah,
And the pool can't open without volunteers. I
Yeah.
can't be there every
Yeah.
day.
I can come in a few times on the weekend. I work the weekdays though, but yeah, we need to get a list and then we need to have them take their online pool test and to get it posted on the board out there. Our license for pool expires in middle of July.
Wow.
So then we'll have to renew it, get our license renewed with the state. But okay, well, if you got any volunteer people want to volunteer for the pools, you contact Lucinda. So it could be as little as one day a week or something like that. The more board people, the better, because then it's not as hectic for everybody. So, and you like working with like 2 people, like last year, 2 people?
I would like to have 2 people at a time there at the pool,
Mhm.
because if there's an accident or something, then you have somebody that can still check, make sure, everybody's paid as they're coming in. And then we have somebody that's still checking chemicals and, there's always something to do, cleaning bathrooms,
Mhm.
taking
Oh.
trash out.
Okay. Did you want to give a brief on how the bathroom's doing? You want me to?
I'll let
answer
you
for
do that.
Okay. All right, for people who aren't aware, with the pool, the bathrooms were open, okay? Currently in the men's room, we have a neighborhood volunteer who's in there. He was in there just a little while ago, who's working on the men's shower. The men's shower was typically leaking everywhere. One reason we had to close it down for the winter time. But he's currently ripped out the old shower stall. And he's combining the area of the shower stall and the changing room into one area. We're gonna have a ledge on the one end where a person can get a shower, sit down on the ledge and, change right there too. That's the limit of the work to be done right now. Any further work's gonna have to end up with the board agreeing to it and agreeing to a dollar amount. They say his time is free. He's not charges. We are only reimbursing for materials only, and we get receipts, and he's paid back for those materials that he's purchased. There is more plumbing work needing done in the water closet where the water tank is. There's a cold water supply to the hot water tank that feeds the hot water tank. It only opens like a half turn, which means the hot water pressure in the bathrooms is really low. Cause of that, eventually that valve's going to have to be swapped out.
We need more volunteers too that can come up and help him, and those that know how to do plumbing and that type of thing would be great.
Yeah. Because as soon as that's done, we still need to look at the I got things for the drain, and I got 2 new sink faucets for the men's room. I bought and I'm gonna put in, and then we had the women's 2 sinks to worry about. The shower's not too bad.
Right.
The shower doesn't leak. Both knobs work and everything. The toilets are fine there. We do want to maybe snake out the women's bathroom, the drain there. It's historically been backed up a few times a year. So that's still things you need. We need volunteers, basically. People know what they're doing to step up and
Right.
help out in there. So Okay,
You know, let me put something. In regards to volunteers, I had a conversation with, I can't even remember who it was now, but. You know, a lot of people sometimes don't think to volunteer. But if they're asked to volunteer, they'll say, yeah, I can do that. So if it's not you that has the knowledge or the expertise or experience, if you know somebody that does, that maybe does not watch these videos, or maybe they don't go to the meetings, contact me. I have no problem calling somebody and saying, hey, I heard you know how to do this. Would you mind donating a little time? I have no problem doing that. So if you can't do it yourself, if you know somebody, let me know who it is, and I'll reach out to them and just see if they can do it. So.
yeah, good idea. Okay. Okay, at the pool and park, we have roads and utilities, William.
Most of mine is gonna be for the actual POA meeting, but we do have accounts set up now with APAC. We also have accounts set up with Express. So all we have to do is call them if we need equipment. Call APAC, we need material. We've been having a little bit of issue that we're dealing with APAC. Hopefully we can get that worked out. We did get some work done. We put 15 loads of gravel around the office area. We put in 4 tin horns to help with the drainage. And I'll get into more of that at the actual POA meeting. And then I did talk to Steve today on his equipment. I've actually familiarized myself with both pieces of equipment. You know, like I said, it's here, it's accessible. I think we should consider, I mean, I would say keep both options open. There may be some stuff we need from Express that that Steve doesn't have. Steve's got a backhoe, Steve's got a skid steer. Both of those are good pieces of equipment to do what we need to do around here. I know I suggested a roller in the past. I've got some ideas for some of the really bad hills, like the one back over here in West Canyon Rock. We might need some other equipment for, but I think Steve is willing to do basically the same rental agreement that Express has. So I know there was some stuff in there before about breakage, things like that. If it's breakage for misuse, obviously I think we should be responsible for that. But the equipment's all in good shape. He actually just put brand new tracks on the skid steer, so we don't have to worry about breaking one of those. But yeah, and then I'll go into more detail on what all's been done, costs, things like that in the POA meeting.
Okay. That's good. We have a portion here for any new business the board wants to discuss.
Mine really needs to wait till the POA, because we just figure out a meeting for next month, the board meeting for May.
Or meeting for May.
I didn't have anything for new business for the board meeting. I didn't know if anybody else did, just the next month's meeting.
Oh, okay. Board meeting for next month. Let's see. Calendar.
Mother's Day is May 12th weekend, so I think we obviously need to steer clear of that one. Memorial weekend will be May 26th, so
We're looking at the 20th.
the 20th, yeah, 20th, Sunday.
28th on the Sunday. I'm good with that.
Is that okay?
And that's strictly board meeting.
Just-
Yeah, and I may need to be video on Sunday, but
Yeah.
I'll be available.
Do
I might be driving, but
you want to meet at the office, or do you want to do it on Zoom?
Well, he said he might be on Zoom, so
Just do everybody Zoom?
yeah, you able to do Zoom meeting?
I'd rather do it in person, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I do have a camera in the office, so you can actually sit in the office and still be in a Zoom
She can
meeting.
come over to my house if we do it, yeah.
Yeah,
She could come over to my house.
okay,
and do it.
so the 20th
So May
of
20th at 2
May,
o'clock.
2 p.m.
2? I didn't have any other. meetings, no.
Okay, yeah, and it's as far as new yeah, just a new business. I'd say to the community, all you here included, there's gonna be we still have elections coming up in July. So anybody who knows somebody who might be interested, would be a good time to start thinking about it. You know, right now we're in need of somebody who knows crunches numbers real good. You know, so it's strictly a volunteers only. You don't get paid for this job. So there is some time on the weekends for meetings and things like that. So consider that also. Anything else? Good. Okay, sound like if I can get a motion to end this meeting.
I'll make a motion.
A motion, we have a
I'll second.
second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have four.
Let's rewind just one
Oh,
second.
back a
So
second.
sorry. We need to vote on that income statement and approve it. We did not do that. I just now thought of that. So the
Oh,
income
okay.
statement that I read, we need to vote. and
Take a
approve
step
on
back.
that.
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion for a second. We have four ayes approved. Okay, now I'd like to follow up on getting back to the ending of the meeting.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
and all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
We have four ayes to, okay, the Board of Directors meeting is officially terminated. Next meeting will be May 20th, 2 p.m., and we will be having it via Zoom meeting. This concludes the board meeting. In a few minutes, we will be starting the public meeting. So I'm gonna put the audio on pause and leave the video running. So we'll be right back in a second. Okay, everybody, we're about ready to start. Okay, all right, right now, based upon the number of property owners in the neighborhood, the formula is 5% of them have to be here. 5% of the vote has to be here, and we have 49 votes, which according to the numbers it is a quorum, so yeah, we can have a meeting right now. So at this time, I'd like to start the public meeting of Lake Tenkiller Harbor dated April 2023. And I'd like to start off with the roll call. Let's see, please. Yeah, roll call the board members. Okay, myself, I'm here. Randy Powell, William Ozenbaugh here.
Susan Hunt.
Lucinda Albright.
Okay, for those who didn't join in the meeting early, we have the board members. We are one board member shy. Becky Barber has resigned, leaving a board with 4 voting members. We have 4 voting members here. We do have a quorum of the board. We have a quorum of the public. So we will begin. Next thing we have the reading of the November was the last public meeting. Reading of the November minutes by the secretary.
Okay, November 12th, 2022. Roll call at that meeting, Randy Powell, myself, Susan Hunt, Treasurer Becky Barber, Pools and Parks, Melissa Rowe, and Roads and Utilities, William Ossenbaum. We were all present. Minutes were read from the July POA meeting, voted and accepted by all board members. Architectural report, architectural forms, many structures and work is being done on properties without submitting a form. Need specifics on your structure being built or brought in prior to building. Violations, the board's proceeding on enforcing current violations specifically address trash, non-approved structures, loose dogs, photo of loose dogs, and owner names submitted to the board will be addressed. Volunteers for each block for assistance in reporting violations, volunteer for all blocks to date except D. Harbor Patrol, reminder to report suspicious activity, vehicles, or unknown individuals in your area, especially with members gone for the winter. Secretary report, update on short-term rental contracts. We received 2 contracts with info to date for Becky Barber, 6 active short-term rentals found in the harbor. Member request info on Appfolio regarding meetings. Board error failed to put on Appfolio. We normally do this. Reminder, no checks will be accepted. Treasury report in November by Becky Barber, 54% of Appfolio portals were activated. There's a substantial number of members marking harbor emails as spam. Reminder statements will be blocked if Appfolio emails are marked as spam. If members need assistance setting up portal, board can assist and provide pay slips if needed. Foreclosures, members question if this is legal. Yes, it is legal and outlined in the bylaws. Board will continue to proceed with foreclosures. Options to avoid foreclosure: get a loan and pay off for a lower interest and payments. Second option, return the lot to Lake Tenkiller Harbor to settle outstanding amount due. Third choice, possible lot being returned soon and put up for bids. Info on the website. Reminder, we're losing income due to investors buying up lots or current members buying additional lots. In November, there were 899 owners, 189 dues not paid from 2022. In November, the outstanding past dues owed was $215,819.63. General fund at that time had $99,868.43. The road fund had $86,436.95. 2022 dues received to date then was $76,680.82. 18,000 plus was still unpaid for 2022. Lot sales were $22,449.06. Total income was $145,919.73. Expenses $75,278.69. Starting funds, January of 2022 is approximately 28,000. We are on track to have 71,000 at the beginning of 2023. Pools and Parks by Melissa Rowe, Jeans Aqua Pro, $1,755 in 2022. The contract was provided to renew in 2023 for a vote from the membership. Participants of Jean's class to sign liability waivers to be approved by the LTH board. Motion and second to allow Jeans to renew their contract from 5/26/23 to September 2nd, 2023. Yes votes were 77. There were 0 no votes. It was approved and passed. Bathroom update. Vote to close the pool for winter season to avoid freezing pipes. I think I meant to put bathroom, my problem. Vote to close the bathroom for the winter season to avoid freezing pipes and additional damages due to disrepair. There was a discussion that the bathroom will be opened for events if necessary until spring. Motion and a second to close bathrooms from November 1st to March 31st. Yes votes 70, no 21, passed and approved. Road and Utilities, William Ossabaugh, per a 60,000 vote under a past board, proposed vote to be rescinded and place funds back in the road fund for use on roads, not just circular road near the office. Motion, there was a motion and a second to rescind the previous 60,000 vote yes 76, no 4. It was passed and approved. William was to put a plan and a budget together to present to the board for approval prior to presenting to the members. Now that funds will be available to contact companies for quotes. New business, potluck dinner, November 19th at 6:30, meat provided, bring side dishes. IRS bills received for penalties, $4,213.28. We also received a refund of $636.89. The board had a discussion on the accountability for past board not filing taxes. RV lot being constructed is not POA property. William to check with USW how they are setting up the water and septic. Motion and a second to end the meeting. It was accepted and meeting adjourned.
Okay, this is a public meeting, so should have the public vote on those minutes.
All right. A motion to accept the minutes from November 2022.
Okay, we got anybody in the audience who'd like to second that? But it's basically, you're just accepting the meetings she just read over from November. You have a second? Let's get a hand to vote real quick. All in aye, in favor of just accepting amendments? Okay, we got pretty much everybody in here. Approved. Well, I can take a step back. I did mention it in the last meeting, the previous building, like an hour ago, but Becky Barber did step down. So we have no treasurer at the moment. And since the last public meeting, we have had Lucinda step up. Melissa Rowe did resign, and we've had Lucinda step up to handle the pools and parks. Now, she'll be in charge of pools and parks until her position is voted on in July, new elections. So just keeping you guys informed. Okay. Okay. Yeah, first item we have on the agenda here is architectural control. Myself, I just want to say a few things and let the public make any kind of comments they wish to have. We have some structures showing up and that are being placed on lots in the middle of the day. When I come back, I see new structures on lots. They have to be approved as per the restrictions. Everybody knows where the restrictions can be located at. So they have to be approved, and I'm getting some submitted to me via folio that pretty much just say, I want to put a trailer in my lot. Those kind of requests initially will not be considered because there's a lack of information there. You have to tell us, what kind of structure it is, what kind of materials it's built from, dimensions. You have your setbacks from your side, back, front properties to consider. There's also several other things to consider. So as much information as you can provide in your request will make the process go much faster. If you don't give the information we need to make a decision, then it's going to be a longer process. And we'd like you to have the architectural request approved first before you bring the item on the lot. We're seeing a lot of times where we find it on the lot, then I have to chase them down to get the paperwork done. So I'm not trying to keep people from improving the lots. Just want to make sure that it follows the restrictions that this community has approved and set forth for, obvious reasons. We want to have some sense of structure in the neighborhood. So, all right. Also, one thing we do have in place is we do have a fine process for those who don't follow restrictions, and I've been very reluctant about fining people. I would rather try to talk people into coming into compliance voluntarily. But for those people who are in violation and they refuse several warnings given to them, eventually they don't leave very much choice. And for those people, we may start issuing the fines, and the fines are listed on the web page. There's a fines list, and it states which article in which article and restrictions they are violating. We're going to give them a reasonable amount of time to fix it. And then if they still don't fix it, then they'll be fined. If they're trying to fix the problem and they're showing progress, we are susceptible to giving them extensions. If they're given a 30-day notice and we see they're actually working on it, hey, I need another 20 days. I see no problem with extending that before any fines are issued. But if you ask for extension and there's no progress, you're just trying to buy time, then that's not going to work. So, did anybody have any questions about architectural control? Okay, and just one more thing. A lot of people, they're not understanding where the property lines are. Many people think the setbacks start at the edge of the roadway. That's not correct. Setbacks have to do with your property lines. So if your setback on the front of your property is 10 feet, normally you have approximately 10 feet from the road to your property line, and the setback is 10 further feet behind that. That's where your structures can start being placed at. So I've had a few people that put it too close to the roadway, and they've had to pick it up and move it back, and that's going to cost them additional money because they made a mistake there. So it's setbacks are from your property line, they're not from the roadway itself. So just in case there's any confusion there. Okay, so no more questions about architectural controls or anything. If you see something being pulled on the property, if you don't think it's been approved, send an email to myself. Email's on the web page, or maybe talk to one of the Harbor Patrol people and they'll pass it on to me. We're just trying to make sure we're not trying to keep people from improving the properties. We're just trying to make sure everybody's in compliance with everybody else. So, all right. Next item we have is we have Harbor Patrol. That'd be myself. I like to talk about the dumpsters fall under Harbor Patrol back here. They are very well posted back there. There's signs saying household materials only. That does not include construction materials, bathtubs, TV sets, furniture, patio furniture. Those aren't considered typical household items. So as far as household garbage, take those items to the transfer station if you can. If you can't take them yourself, maybe find a neighbor who's willing to do it for you. If we do find somebody dumping garbage back here, if we identify them, we'll either place it back on your porch for you, or it's impossible to get a fine there for legal dumping. So we want to be hard people. We just want everybody to cooperate back there and keep the area kind of clean back there. Try not to overfill a dumpster. If it's overfilled, they will not pick it up. Pickups are always on Fridays, and then they're on Mondays. Reason for that is the weekends, and when we get a lot of visitors, people come and check their properties, a lot of action. So they normally fill up over the weekend. We have on the holidays, such as Memorial Day coming up, we do try to get a roll off. Since we have a large number of people out here, the roll off is also for household garbage. It's not for sofas and beds and that kind of thing. So any questions about the dumpsters at all? Anybody like to discuss anything?
What about people like using them like? The guy that has the junkyard places that recycle stuff, he uses those dumpsters at his advantage. He's dumping a whole lot of stuff that is not household goods.
Is it like metals and woods or?
Well, insulation, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I think they had a toilet or something that was out of it was out of RV that the guy was tearing down. And just random stuff.
Oh, that should be just anything that can fit in a trash bag, should be trash bags only, right? You take, anything that fit in a trash bag.
Yeah, it's pretty much any standard kitchen garbage kind of materials. Yeah,
Insulation.
Yeah,
toilet
that-
seats
that-
and all these things. I mean, if he's gonna do that, he needs to buy his own damn dumpster.
yeah. Well, I agree with you. That's considered construction materials.
His property
Yeah.
is a business,
Hmm.
which is a problem too. I wish
Yeah.
the business here would have to stand up.
Yeah, that's considered construction material and it's not authorized. If you see him dumping in there personally, let the Harbor Patrol myself know. And we'll have him go out there and dig it back out.
There are cameras back there. right?
Yeah, we do have cameras, but the cameras don't catch every single angle back there. Yeah. So, but if we do find them, we either have them go pick it up. Usually, or sometimes I've seen them pick it up and put it on their front doorstep. You know, so if we can identify them, so, and there are people in this, there are people outside the community who we've seen dumping their stuff here too. They come in the harbor, head straight for this dumpster and try to unload their stuff here. See? Yeah,
The hard ones don't really know.
yeah, because we don't know them personally. We see a face, we see a truck we don't recognize. But if you see those people, like I caught some guys last week in a white dually trying to load a bunch of outside furniture in there. And I had them pulled back out, so,
Yeah.
but same thing with the bathrooms. I understand the bathrooms are primarily for PO members and their guests, but you know, I found out last fall, there's a lot of hunting cabins outside the POA. And I've seen where they've advertised them that, oh, here's your cabin. If you need to take a shower, go to the harbor here next door and they have free showers. I've seen that too. So we are not the, you know, the free resource for the outside neighbors also. So if you see anybody that shouldn't be here, you know, ask them to leave or something. If you don't want to approach them directly, call Harbor Patrol or someone. And we'll try to get them maybe identified and outside of our neighborhood. But I agree with you there. We got a lot of dumping. We catch them, we do something. The problem is catching them in the act. So, okay. Next item we have, we got the Vice President Susan Hunt. We're gonna talk about polio help.
Okay, in March and April, several of the board members was up at the office to help people set up their folio and, you know, set up getting their dues paid. I had quite a few people come through this last Thursday evening. We're getting close to the end of April when the dues need to be paid, so I'm going to be up there Friday the 28th from 2 to 6 p.m. So if you know someone that needs assistance, spread the word, but I will be there Friday. That'll be the last day that we'll have somebody at the office. But if somebody needs help, call us, email us. We want to try to help you, but I want to let everyone know that I'll be up there Friday. Again, checks are not accepted. I know it's kind of a hassle, but checks are not accepted, and we are trying to assist people to get around that. We received quite a few checks in the mail. And those members were contacted and, you know, unfortunately I had to tell them their check was destroyed, that they had to open their portal or they could request a pay slip. We have 2 properties for up for bids on the website. They've been up there, I can't remember how long, but it's before Christmas. We weren't getting any hits on those because I think maybe because the starting bid might have been a little high. So we have lowered the starting bid to 1,500 on the property. That's just one property. Neither of those properties have any, what's the word I want? They don't have water, sewer, they don't utilities. Yeah, it's just property. I don't know the lot numbers off the top of my head, but if you want to know, let me know. But the single lot was lowered from 2,500 starting bid to 1,500 starting bid. And there's a 2-lot property, again, with no additions to it. It was set at a 5,000 starting bid. And it's been lowered to, I think it's 2,500. We lowered it to 2,500.
If
So-
they're both together.
but if they're
Yeah.
bought together, yeah. So that's out there, and we would like to get those sold so we can get some income in here for the harbor. Let's see. We are still looking for someone that may want to train in Appfolio. With Becky stepping down, it leaves a huge void. And I explained earlier in the board meeting, I don't know if everybody was in here, but I'm gonna try to keep the train on the tracks. I know how to I know how to get in there, I know how to do stuff. I've been in touch with Appfolio. They're gonna help me to make sure that I can keep everything covered and up to date. So, but we are looking for someone that may want to train on that. I work full time, and it kind of rides and drives itself, but this time of year with dues and everything, there's been more to it right now than what is usual throughout the rest of the year. You know, and what comes along with that also is kind of keeping track of changeover of property from one owner to another. We do have an auction coming up soon for some properties. I think it's 12 properties will be at the county auction because of taxes. So there may be new owners take over some of those. So it's more than just payments. Appfolio, I think there's a misconception. I think a lot of people think Appfolio is only to pay dues, and it's not. It runs reports for us. It's a checks and balances for our bank account. There is a lot of things in there as far as things we keep track of on properties. It does our delinquency report. It does our income statement. It does a lot of things that kind of, like I said, drives itself. So it is a nice thing to have. It does take someone to oversee it and make sure it's running smoothly. And if anybody is interested in that, we are still looking for someone to kind of, and you don't have to be a board member to do Appfolio. If you're a numbers person and you like doing numbers and being on the computer and trying to help us figure all that out and keep it running smoothly, you do not have to be a board member. We can appoint someone to run Appfolio and oversee it as a committee. We talked about that before, right? Okay, we were all in agreement, and that is in the bylaws that we can do that. So if you don't want to be a board member, but you want to help with Appfolio, you can do that without being a board member. Where am I out here? There are going to be a couple of positions vacating. We're going to need some nominations for new board members in July at our annual POA meeting. So be thinking about that. I had mentioned at the last board meeting, retaining Becky to possibly be consultant for Appfolio. Obviously, that she stepped down. That won't happen. She requested after the meeting that she just didn't want to do that. She wanted to be done. So we will not be approving that, asking her to do that, retaining that idea. So that's been shelved. We're not going to do that. I'm going to do Becky's presentation that she would have given had she been here. I'm going to give you the income information. Give me 1 second here. This information is effective as of April 19th. On that date, the general fund had 115,624.94 in it. The road fund had 87,238.03. Total of back dues prior to 2022 received this year 4,020.98. The back dues received for 2022 this year, 1,656.75. Total of 2023 dues received as of the 19th is 40,534.30. Total of all funds received as of April 19th was 47,132.92. And I did this in the board meeting. I'm going to read this exactly like it's typed on this report. It's easier than me trying to fumble through and say this, okay? With the back dues collected from last year, 45,289.68, and the lot sales of 22,449.06, a total of 67,738.74. That 67,000 is what the POA is currently using for the rest of this year to pay the balance of $63,275.34. So there's a little over a $4,000 difference there. Bills we're expecting to pay by the end of the year. The amount that we've received from the 2023 dues are what the POA will need to be able to survive on next year. The 2024 budget should be based on what is spent this year, but as a guesstimate, the POA will need 85,000, and we only have 47,000 plus to date. The POA can expect to receive $86,095.80 based on the amount of payments made last year, but have only received $40,534.30. We are missing $45,561.50 to be able to finish the year 2024. So right now, we've only collected not quite half of, and that expected amount is not what we should receive. What we should receive is well over 100,000, but historically, we've only collected around 80 to 85,000. So of that, what we've normally collected, we've only collected, let's write it on here. We've only collected about 47. So a big deficiency there. We have not been putting the delinquency report on the website or the board out there, because had we put it up, it would look like everybody was delinquent with the dues being due. So on May 1st, I'll put the delinquency report back up on the website and the board outside for everybody to look at. We had one tax bill come in. It was small. It was about $21. I think it was $21.08 that we paid. We did have a tax form that had to be filed, and it was originally due March 31st, but the CPA said the corrected date was April 18th. Due to their workload, they did an extension, but they said they did not think that we would owe any money on that tax bill. So some good news there. One other thing under treasurer report, we do have a foreclosure that is going to the sheriff's sale in May. Off the top of my head, I want to say it's May 25th. I could be wrong, but in May, you should start looking for classifieds if you're interested in bidding on that, or you know somebody that might be interested.
Hey.
We need to vote on the income
Well,
statement.
but
Or,
get
well, no,
back
we
to
voted
real
on
quick.
that in the board meeting,
Yeah,
didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe they have to.
Oh, they have to
do.
accept it.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, so, there's two properties, adjacent properties, I want to say A49 and A50. For those that don't know, it's a West Canyon Rock Road. It's just about 75 yards up the hill from me. It's a single wide trailer on two lots. It's got septic, it's got water, it's got electricity. It does have some yard waste up there. The owner actually died in 2010. His brother moved in. His brother died too, and it didn't have an owner anymore. And they owed dues. So we want a court order, and it's being sold at a sheriff's sale. That's what it's being sold right now. So it's going to pop up in the newspaper for a sheriff's sale, and then people are going to have to bid on the property down there. That's how that works. One thing I found out in this whole process is there's actually a lot of properties around this neighborhood who get sold in sheriff sales that you will never see a for sale sign on. You'll see some new people moving in, and there's a line of commercial entities who stand in line up there almost every day looking for properties that are getting ready to go up to sheriff sales, and they don't want you knowing they're for sale. They want them to get them at the cheapest price possible. So we got a lot of commercial entities are buying up all these lots in this neighborhood, and you don't even know about it. And then they take it, they put a for sale line, sign out front, and they sell it for maybe 50% of what they pay for. So I would suggest, keep an eye on the classified items. If you see a sheriff sale for this neighborhood, then, maybe pass it off to your neighbors. If I see it, I'm gonna put it out there. Cause we got too many commercial entities buying up all the properties. Some own 20 or 30 lots right now, and it's cutting down our property base right now. Like I say, we've got a lot less owners than we had just a year ago. So they're mostly being bought up by commercial entities and are sitting on the properties. So just give me some background information on that. So, yes,
Do they know what lot's gonna come up for auction?
I'm keeping an eye. It will be posted in the Tahlequah newspaper. And every day I'm reading them, and they're gonna post them out there. And just like I did last year, I'm gonna get every lot and I'm gonna place them out there on Facebook for everybody. Now you gotta be careful about that because the county will put signs up. Sometimes they don't put the signs on the correct lot. They'll be over one lot. You gotta make sure you know what you're buying. So, and then a lot of people will drive by who want that property. They'll pick the sign up, throw it on the back of the pickup truck, or they'll throw it out in the woods because they want less competition. So be wary of that also. But I will, when I find out what the properties are, I'll post them out on Facebook for people to pass around. I want a fair bid out there for these properties, not just somebody coming gobbling all up. So,
Randy, we received a mailing on all those lots. So I have the lot numbers. If you're interested,
Yeah.
I can. Is it okay to publish? that?
yeah, well, that at the time you received, they might have paid since then
Oh,
too.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, they might have paid since then. So, but the list comes out in the newspaper sometime in May, and I think the properties go out for sale in June. So when I get the list, I'll put them out there together.
We don't be able to ever change the maximum of an individual they own mortgage. How someone can own 11 or more and not pay any more than something before.
Yeah, that's been talked about in the past. Yeah. And it might be, if the people here want to add something onto the annual election. Remember, everybody's gonna come up with some ideas. You've got to vote on what you want on the ballot. If you vote for it, then it's your choice. The board doesn't make the mind up. Everybody votes, everybody combined makes a decision. If we want to put a limit on it, and I know there's gonna be pushback from these commercial entities because they like it the way it is right now. Because right now they can own 30 properties and only have to pay on 4. So there will be pushback. There'll be threats of lawsuits. But it happens every time though. So, but whatever you guys want, it's up to you. You guys gotta get it on the ballot and vote for it. That's all I can say about that, but I agree with you. So, okay,
Can
and
we,
What's the best way for someone to put something like that on the ballot?
I think we vote as to whether we want to put it on there.
yeah, right around, yeah. Right around May or June, we start putting, collecting names to be put on the ballot and maybe some items we want to vote on right around May, June timeframe. And then they appear on the July ballot. So, we're just having people show up in the next public meetings and maybe get some suggestions together and what we want to see on the ballots. Because yeah, you guys decide what the restrictions are. You guys decide a lot of things. So, but no one person makes all the decisions, just everybody combined. And the majority vote too. So if you guys want it, and want it hard enough, then you'll get it. Okay, we have to have a public vote on the budget income statement as she just read it there. We just need a vote to accept as she read it to everyone. I have a motion to. Okay, and we have a second, says aye. Okay, we get our hand raised, say aye of it. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. We have none opposed.
I had one question.
Yes,
So by Susan's statement there, we've received several checks to pay dues, but we're destroying them and contacting them. Is that not a little bit foolish that we're so hard nosed that we're not accepting when we have money in our hand to pay the dues?
The decision was probably made over a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to accept checks, because
Yeah.
it could be, well, it could be a possibility, but there was a reason for that, which,
There's several reasons, but
What are the reasons?
I think the reason was mostly accountability to checks, and our bank is in Tahlequah.
the bank's in
Make sense.
Tahlequah, and you're talking about 800 plus members, and just it's not a matter of just taking the check and depositing it into the account. There's a lot of paperwork between putting it in the bank account and then transferring all that information to Appfolio. It's a lot of labor, and I don't know all the ins and outs of that. Becky's explained it to me several times. It's very complicated. Having possession of those checks and taking them to the bank is not anything anybody really wants. Also, Appfolio is very safe to put information into, but there's also, you know, the nice thing about Appfolio, it's the checks and balances for what we need for the harbor, but it's a checks and balances with our bank account, because we have, first of all, we have to have 2 signers anytime any money comes out of that account. And Appfolio is kind of like a checks and balances of what's coming out of our bank account. In previous boards, and I don't want to go into a lot of detail, but we did have a couple of people that worked in the office that embezzled. And that's another reason we don't want cash or checks on hand. There's a lot of backstory on that. So just to not have that temptation there or set somebody up to hurt someone that way financially, that was another reason we don't want to take checks. I've worked for a financial institution, so I know a lot of horror stories of what people can do with financial information. So it's really something to cut down on embezzlement or stealing or fraud. But a lot of it is just, it's very complicated to put it in the bank. You're talking about over the course of 2 months, making multiple trips to Tahlequah to have to do it. And it's just I mean, the world is going to online payments, just the way of the world. And it is much safer as far as identity theft and that kind of thing. I have tried as hard as I can to make it easy for those that just can't use a computer. They don't have one. There's a lot of population in just the harbor here of people that don't have a computer. So we have the means to set them up an email in-house so that we can print off a pay slip and they can go pay cash themselves. They can go into town. There's 4 locations. You can go to Casey's, CVS, Walgreens, or Walmart. So there is a way to pay cash. If you get on your portal, you can use a debit or credit card, or you can use your routing number, checking account number to do a one-time payment. So there are features there to protect you, but if you just really want to pay cash, call me. I will help you do it. I just can't take your cash. We can't take your cash.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So at Folio, because when you guys agreed to accept it for the next year, did you find out how much the renewal was going to be for the cost?
Yeah, it's going to go down. I think it's around,
Have you not found out for sure?
yeah, I just don't have it off the top of my head. I have it. I just don't have it here, but I want to say it went down, it started out around 1,000 and I think we're under 800 now. I think it's like 790 or around that.
So that's the cost for the renewal for the software, for the program, for the whole year?
No, that's monthly. That's monthly.
And
Yeah.
how much was it the first year?
I think it was like 880 a month.
Well-
It went down a little as we lost memberships because it's based on how many members you have. So
And also the
Um,
first year was included in the first year was some training, which Becky had obtained,
yeah,
included additional training, one-on-one training with them online and all. So now that the training portion's over, it would drop
I
also.
think she said too that it was like when they built the Appfolio, there had to be, what was it, 1,000?
Mhm. There had to be a
Portals.
1,000, yeah,
And now we're only paying for what we're using.
yeah.
So that's why the cost is going down, because they're only paying for the actual portals that are open. Before we had to pay for the 1,000 that like got the software written and all that stuff.
And a lot of people don't know this. We had a very, it's my understanding, I didn't know personally, but we kind of had an archaic program in the office when it was open. And Becky spent months transferring all the members' information. And it wasn't a matter just taken out of the computer here. She had to get on the tax site and look for names and addresses. She had to go to, there were 2 or 3 websites she had to go to. So each member's information to put in, it was a long time. It took, in fact, she gave me in her stuff just stacks of pages of where she had gone to different places to get what she needed to transfer. That's that's why I'm hesitant to get another program, because it takes a long, long time to transfer that over to another setup. And a lot of work was done to get Appfolio so that it would be functional for us. And I'm not proficient by any means, but I'm gonna keep us, like I keep saying, keep the train on the track, but I know where my resources are to go get help. And, you know, just for now, we just got to get through this period and get through the dues and, you know, get through the next couple of months. So, you know.
These places that you go to in town to pay,
Mhm.
are they just members of that folio? How does that?
You know, I don't know that I don't know the connection, and I don't know the connection, and I apologize that I don't know all the ins and outs, but when someone goes in, the pay slip has, I'm gonna stand up because I can't deal with leaning forward. So you get a piece of paper and it has 4 barcodes on it, one for each of the locations. Now, the person taking your payment doesn't know how much you owe. They'll scan it and they'll say, how much do you want to pay? So I always give a pay slip and I either write what is due or I give them their statement. So you have to tell them it's $3.99 to pay cash, okay? Immediately when it's paid, that money is transmitted to us electronically. I don't think it's an Appfolio thing. I think it's some type of processor. I think they are a processor. They're like a vehicle to process payments to us.
It's a payment service. That's
Yeah,
all it
payment
is.
service.
That's why I was kind of wondering, you know, like if any store can do that, or, yeah, look, do they get charged for that, or it's like,
I think that's why they make you pay cash so that they don't have to be given a fee to take it. Yeah. Now, if you pay with a debit or credit card on Appfolio, it's $9.99. ACH is free. If you put in your routing number and your checking account number, that's free. There's no charge for that.
it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
is.
thinking Becky got the Appfolio because it was actually cheaper than paying somebody to work in the office.
Yes.
Yeah, it was about 35,000 a year to have an office person. It was much cheaper. Plus, when they handled it in the office, they kept paper records in the file cabinets of canceled checks,
Yeah.
things with your banking information on it. And we really didn't like holding on that stuff for years and years and years.
Store down here.
Yeah,
If that was somehow,
That's a good idea.
I was just.
I don't know how to check that. You know, I'm gonna write that down. I'll see if there's any way, because that would make it more convenient. Let me write a note.
okay, so we'd save them about 35,000 a year on the office manager. And we're no longer required to have all your personal information stored in file cabinets for 7 years, like canceled checks and your bank router information. We really don't want to hold on to that. That just leaves a possibility of strange things happening. And and plus, when you're paying at these agencies, you get a receipt right on the spot. I mean, you get it right in your hand saying you're paid, you know. So that's a plus there too. And if anybody here still needs to pay, you can get with us after the meeting and we can go over to the office and give you a bank slip or something like, pay slip or something like that if you really need it today. So if anybody's up for that, so.
So another point brought up there, so you're looking for a volunteer for Appfolio, how secure is our information if you're gonna allow a volunteer to access to it on Appfolio?
Okay, now as far as the people and checks we have to
We
have,
were just discussing how unsafe or whatever.
Yeah.
That are, but I mean, you're looking for a volunteer to do Appfolio. So what are you doing to vet that person to make sure that they're not going to use our information when they have access to it on that?
are they manipulating
On
data?
Appfolio, there is no, like, there's no socials, there's no information that. Other than, the only thing on Appfolio that we put in there is name, phone number, address, and email address.
Yeah, and
That's the only
well,
personal
well-
information. Now, there are some really creative people out there that can go crazy with that, but we don't retain any type of person, no socials. We don't take anything like that. Now, once the person is trained on Appfolio, they will be bonded just for protection for us and for them, but yeah, so that would be taken care of.
One other question I have, I keep hearing it repeated over and over, that was embezzlement by previous lords and all. Was anybody ever charged? Was there even any formal charges? Or are we just here saying this?
No.
Because it's one person's judgment.
No, there was evidence,
But is the evidence, was it actually proven to be correct in the court of law?
Well,
Or was it one person in the board's judgment call?
no, there was paper trail, there was evidence that it happened, so.
I just,
would be careful if it's not, we're running around saying that.
No,
yeah,
there was evidence.
I'm not gonna mention any names,
No,
but
we're not mentioning names, but there was evidence, yes.
yeah, it goes all the way up to like a DA. It's up to the DA to prosecute, really.
Was it turned over to the DA?
Yes,
Yes.
But
Yes,
they found not enough evidence to prosecute, correct?
I think that person paid it back, so it got dropped, right?
they never paid it back. But,
But
well,
they-
the DA on one instance, it was passed to the Cherokee Nation.
Hmm.
The Cherokee Nation declined to prosecute. And that's,
One that you're talking about, one person, not several, because you just.
Yeah,
just one in the office, yeah, one in the office, no.
but
Well, I'm just saying because if we keep repeating it, saying they embezzled.
Right.
The DA sees there was not supporting evidence to
Yeah.
to prosecute, then we're basically saying that we judged it as that, not the court of law.
yeah, well, our responsibility is to report it to the agencies, and it's the agency's decision if they want to prosecute or not. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
The
saying.
fact is, we were missing an X number of dollars. We know where it went. We know it got deposited. I mean, so, but we felt it was justified and we felt there was enough evidence, but it went to one DA down to Cherokee Nation and then they just dropped it at that time. So, but, we done our part. We reported it. So,
And the other question I would have, destroying people's checks and refusing to accept them, is that not refusing tender for payment?
well, I think that was discussed on several boards before. Back about the time I first jumped on the board, there was a decision that the board, this was as it was explained to me, but because I was new on there at the time, it was explained that we get determine how payment is made. And the board at that time had determined that Appfolio was coming online, and then that was going to be the method of payment right there. We didn't want cash. We didn't want checks because we were afraid we were just recently burned on some money being taken, and we didn't want to do that again. So this way, if people make online payments, no one on the board is touching any money anymore. We had no access to dip into those funds. I know, there was a what do you call it, a cash fund sitting on the counter kind of thing, penny change, I think it's called. And there's some penny change stuff with being used freely, but we didn't want to have any perception that anything was being done illegally with money anymore. So they decided to go to Appfolio, where you don't pay us. You pay them directly, you get a receipt, we know where the money went, it leaves a permanent record that you made a deposit. Leaves a permanent record of how the money spent through vendors. So we felt it was more secure and more visible to the public for that, so.
I will tell you on the destroying the checks, I don't just shred it, and that's too bad. I do reach out to them. I email them, I call them, and I think almost everybody that and it hasn't been a lot, there have been several. We worked it out, I got them paid, I said, I'm sorry, but I can't take your check, and but I don't just shred it and too bad, so sad. I do reach out to them and contact them so that they know their dues aren't paid and give them some other options to try to help them get it paid.
Well, my concern was you were saying only roughly half of the dues have been paid, and if another 20% of the dues would have been paid if those checks would have been accepted, then are we not shooting ourselves in the foot? That's all I'm saying.
Yes and no, but it had been communicated for a long time. It's not like dues were due and then all of a sudden they're like, what do you mean you don't take a check? We've been saying that for a long time, so it wasn't new news.
If we as a membership decide that we want that change, that we can make a proposal for that to be on the ballot, correct, for July?
My first answer is no, because Appfolio isn't set up for that. It can take your checking account number. There are ways to make your payment through Appfolio, but just physically handing us cash or check, there's really no way to do that.
I want to say that one of the board members did go through a lawyer and with our the POA, and it was determined, well, it was told us by the lawyer that the board could determine the method of payment. So it was the board's decision, and that was a recommendation from a local lawyer who deals in that kind of thing. So, and at that time, the board decided to accept payments via Appfolio.
We also had a vote, voted on whether in July, whether to go to that system as a membership.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying is a membership, we can also vote to cancel that too, correct?
I think we're locked into a year right now, aren't we?
Yeah, because we just renewed, but the flip side of that, not to be devil's advocate, is let's say we do put the vote out there. What's going to happen to all that information that has to be put somewhere? There has to be some kind of record keeping of who the members are, what dues are paid. I mean, and if we don't keep Appfolio, then all of that has to be transferred to another system, and it's very labor intensive. Personally, I don't want to do it, but you can put it to a vote, and there would be a lot of ins and outs on that, but if we're not going to use Appfolio, then how do we keep accountable? How do we keep track of all those records? How do we keep track of dues? There has to be a paper trail somewhere. Paper trail of whether it's electronic or actual paper, and I don't think we want actual paper, laying around anymore. We're trying to get away from that.
Yeah, it's just my opinion, but I'm not a CPA, but we might have to hire a CPA to handle the money flow. I mean, I don't know if that's the right route to do it, but that's the only thing I can think of the top of my head.
And I know it all presents other problems. That wasn't what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Getting at, if you're saying that membership has no say in a vote on what we do or don't do, then I think you're incorrect there.
Okay, we can follow up on that. Yeah, where it's,
I mean, because we voted to bring it in, so we could vote to not have it also. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we are or aren't.
Yeah.
Just bring that
well, the last board, I was on the beginning of that last one, but the last board's one made, we're all mostly new people up here. It's something we can revisit and discuss. Yeah,
most of all.
because we're in, Yeah, because we're all interested in you guys, the making payments, of course, obviously. I mean, we want to make it as easy as possible,
Yeah.
which is why we've been volunteering to hand out pay slips on our weekends down here. We're trying to get people in, that have a hard time paying.
Well, none of that was, I was just saying that.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it almost struck me as we have the power to do it we want, because but you're no more than a voting member as well.
Right.
Volunteer for it.
Right.
So, I mean, all things in this harbor are by voting.
Mhm.
So I'm just putting that, I mean, that's the only point I was bringing.
Okay, I understand.
Right.
And I
And
would
that's
just
what
say-
this is for. That's
Oh.
what this is for. is
And I would just say too, a vote to change would have to be with the understanding that the portfolio thing's a contract. So you'd have to fulfill the contract and then change, but I get what you're saying, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But if we do vote,
I
I
just wanna
want
make
the
sure everybody
person to
knows.
say, I'll take over once it's approved.
That was,
Somebody better be there saying, I'll do
Yeah.
all the work.
that was. the point.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, and allowing sufficient time to get a system in place to jump in once that vote is over would be real important too. So you want to have something in place ready to go when it stops over here. So, yeah, I agree.
As a nation, we're gonna go digital. You will not have checks coming around. Give it another year and it will be digital. There'll be no check. It's going to change on. Not so like it, and it's gonna happen.
Okay. Let's see.
I did I don't even know the possibility, but I don't know if this store has not been there very long to be established, but the barn, is that what it's called? The barn? It's an established business and I'm at least gonna check into, who do you call? How do you set this up? So. Even if it's just for us, so I'm gonna check into it and see what I can find out. It may be a rabbit hole, but I'll see what I can find out.
Okay, any more questions? We go on the next item? All right, thank you. Next item, we get the pool and park for our new board member, Lucinda Albright.
Our pool will be opening up on May 1st, 2023. That way we can have it ready to go. To be opening up for Labor Day for everybody to come and swim. We have our
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to Labor Day. No,
Memorial Day
Memorial Day,
That'll be the Friday,
the Friday. Yeah.
Friday on the beginning of the Memorial Day weekend, yeah.
We've purchased all of our chemicals. We hope that will last us throughout the summer. If not, we may have to purchase a few more along the way. We did that so early so that we could get a 10% discount at Hearth and Pools, because that's where we'll be taking our water and having it tested every week to make sure we're where we're supposed to be in compliance. I need volunteers. I can't be there every day to have the pool open. Right now, I don't have anybody to be there every day or even part of the day. I have people that are gonna help me clean the pools on Monday, Paul, Rachel. Thank you.
Call them out on video.
But as far as being able to man the pool each day, I don't have anybody besides myself. And Danielle,
And we'll, on our days off.
Yeah, on her days off, said she could help, but other than that, oh, go away, Trudy.
I do know two people that say they're going to help. I'm not gonna
Good.
say their names, but I think we just need to get them on paper so that
Yeah.
we know how to
So
plan.
if you have anybody or know anybody that would like to volunteer, please contact me, let me know, contact any board member and they can get to me. So that we can have the pool open this summer.
So is Pool and Park's going to open the pool like they have been, like they did last year?
Yes,
So that everything done
Yes.
right. Yeah.
that's what we're gonna do May 1st. We're gonna come out and cover it,
Say that, huh?
and cover it and everything for us.
Yeah, and that'll give us rest of the month to do any patches like concrete patching, cleaning the weeds out the cracks, making sure everything works, the water's clean, before it opens up.
So if you have any
Yeah.
masonry skills, we do have cement work that needs to be done around the pool where some of the cement has broken off that needs to be fixed. Any volunteers that want to come up and help with any of that, you're more than welcome. I appreciate it. We had a cleanup day today. We had several people come up and help with mowing, weed eating, and burning of leaves. We have one one guy that is gonna come up and
Oh,
do
yes.
our
Yes.
yard work for us for rest of the summer. He has volunteered. What was his name?
Most of you probably know him, Daniel Hankins. He has a business called, what's it called? Mow Me Down. He's gonna put signs. He said, could I put a sign so that everybody knows who's doing the work? And I said, if you're doing the work, you can put a sign. So
Mhm.
he said he's gonna put it on his calendar to do it every other week, starting in 2 weeks.
Right.
So that would be great.
So that's gonna help us out a bunch.
Yeah.
So, but if there's something you want to do, plant flowers or anything like that, it's appreciated. I want to just say thank you.
Yeah, at, restroom.
I'll let you do restrooms.
Well, restroom, we did have a volunteer in the neighborhood. He was over today. That men's shower was broken down when I first moved here, and its pipes were leaking, it was constantly leaking. And one of the reasons why we shut down for the winter. But he ripped out the old shower stall and the changing room to the right. And he's working on putting a new shower in there right now. He put in some new PEX in there, some new hardware. He's building his own pan right now. You know, he's using the mud and all, and tiles on the bottom. You know, concrete wall there and some tiles on the side. And he's kind of combining the shower and the changing area into one area. So there's gonna be a ledge down one end. You can get a shower, and sit on the ledge and get dressed before you step out, you know, so the kids don't scream, you know, so. But and as soon as he's finished with that, he's gonna stop and we're gonna pause and we're gonna see how much money we have to do anything further in those rooms. We're gonna replace some faucets, place some drains in there. We're gonna try to snake out 1 or 2 drains that have been known to clog up from time to time. So it's not gonna be a full gut job in the bathrooms. We're trying to repair some things that need repair for a few years now. So, and I say it's all volunteer work. We are reimbursing for materials. And we do have some people who are also donating some materials there also to help out. So,
And
This-
he's not full-time here. So he's only here like Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mhm.
and he, like I say, he's here today and all, yeah.
Yeah. And so then he goes home for a few days.
Yeah. But any volunteers there is helpful, and any improvement in those bathrooms, of course, is approved. I know we do have to have working showers in order to open the pool. It's a state requirement. So we're trying to make sure we're in standards before we open the pool.
I have a question about the tile. Somebody asked me this Thursday night. Is the tile going on the wall or the floor?
Both.
Because this gentleman said, he goes, I just want to put my opinion out there that tile on the floor is dangerous
We
next
have
to a pool.
non-slip
Oh, it is
tile.
non-slip. That was gonna be my question. Okay. I told him I would find out and tell him if the tile was non-slip or, you know, put some sand, just leave it concrete and put
Yeah.
sand on the floor.
Yeah, and I talked to him today about putting a safety bar in there for folks to grab onto, that kind of thing too. So put a safety bar in there for that. Make it safe if you can.
We
Okay.
do have a volunteer that has been coming up and cleaning our bathrooms and so forth since we opened them. Now that they're partially closed now, she's just coming up, you know, once in a while. But I am looking for volunteers to also help with cleaning the bathrooms this summer. So, anything helps.
Yeah.
I get it covered. And well, this area, I know over the summer, right around Christmas time, I did have the heater here serviced. It wasn't wasn't put out any heat anymore, you know. I replaced an igniter in there, but the problem ended up being the gas regulator. So the gas regulator was swapped out and we have heat in here now. So it's a plus during the winter times and all. Anybody got anything to say about the pool and parks, anything like that?
have to have volunteers to keep the pool open?
Because there's not a paid person to sit there and make sure people have that entry to the pool have paid their dues. Because you have to have your dues paid to be able to use the pool.
A state law says we're not required to have a lifeguard, but we are required to have a pool attendant. The pool attendant is the one who checks the water every so many hours. It's I mean, several times a day. They have to come in and check the water. And attendants also needed to make sure only POA members and their guests are using it. It's not open for the whole, south part of Cherokee County, because they will show up.
You
So,
have to have a pool attendant just to test the water?
Test the water and to let people in.
And what's that?
yeah, that pump,
And the
it's gotta be
pump.
nursed along. It doesn't run continuously all the time, so it does need occasional backflush and,
I guess that's what I just still have an issue with, the whole volunteer with the pool, to keep it open.
we used to have it
I just
paid.
don't
Yeah, we used to have a
understand.
person paying them out there to sit.
Well, I
Yeah.
understand that, but I don't know why. It's not very much for the keypad, and if our app polio, or whatever it's called, if it's so great, then if everybody's paid their dues. And they could get the code and then they could access it, and then someone just check the water. Because trying to find volunteers for, every day or whatever that they're here.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, we did look at keypads and the systems are much too expensive. We can't afford keypad
It's not like
systems.
It's just a simple lock on the
Yeah.
gate of the gate itself, and with a keypad.
And then, okay, approximately right now, we got, say 45% of people paid right now.
I know, but I just think that we need to come up with a vote of that, and that's what I think, I just don't.
What would the vote say?
For the gate, a keypad. Where you don't have to have someone up there, and I guess if there's issues with the pump, then why is that not?
Yeah, well,
Money.
okay, well, we also discussed our insurance. Okay, we have insurance that covers this park area.
We have money to pay for Appfolio, we have money to pay.
Yeah, well, we do pay insurance for the pool and all, but the pool we have limitations that things we have to do or things we can't do in order to maintain your insurance coverage. For example, like I say, if we got one person walking that pool area drunk, and something happens, they won't pay out, which means they'd sue the whole POA, the whole membership. So we have insurance possibilities also. So we are liable for anybody who enters that pool area, what they do. So we need some eyesight on what's going on. We're not trying to limit people going there. We had a lot of participation last year. A lot of people went in there, had fun, but we're not trying to limit participation. We're trying to make sure that we're following the state laws. Like people have to shower before they get in the pool. They got to make sure they got in the shower before they get in there. Otherwise, state law, and they could shut us down. People passing booze over the fence line, which has happened. If that's caught, we're shut down also. So we're trying to keep the pool open, and we're trying to follow state laws. We're trying to follow the rules of our insurance carrier also. And by volunteers, and somebody has to be there to test the water at least 4 times a day, I believe it is. And so they got to be there anyway. So it's gonna have to be volunteer. What's that? Yes, we take a test. You have to be a certified pool attendant. You have to take an online test and you have to pass it. And right by the bathrooms, you got the little window right there. Everybody who's certified, his names are up there. And if we get any new volunteers, if they want to handle chemicals, they have to be certified by the state and they have to be posted up there at the pool also. So it's not one reason, it's a bunch of reasons added
Yeah,
together.
To remember why that we needed that.
Yeah, at one time it was a paid position, but then they decided they couldn't pay her anymore, so we went to volunteers. Question?
Thing that didn't bring up was a lot of parents bringing kids up. Then leave.
Yeah,
They didn't last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, they do try that.
They tried.
Somebody that's there that says, we're not gonna watch your kids, you have to stay.
Yeah, you could be,
Your kids
right,
are-
yeah, the rules right now, 12 years old, well, it's 12 years old. Yeah, so 12 years old, if you're 12 years old, you can be there without your adult supervision, but as far as anything younger than that, if they're younger than that, when the parent leaves, they gotta leave too. So,
Seen that through the years.
you know, it's a continuous problem, but the volunteers try to keep ahead of that.
Because they're here for weekends and they don't go to the meetings.
But one thing we might have to consider, like this, the pool path thing for family members who aren't POA members, we might want to address maybe something better that works this year.
Cards, they used to give out.
Yeah, because, the restriction says POA members and it says and they're validated family members. Well, how do you validate? If the kid just shows up, who are you? Oh, they're my
They have to
dad,
be with
my
them, though.
uncle. Is that validated? I mean, how do you know that? Because I've had some people show up, oh, my uncle lives over here. You told me I could use it. What's your uncle's name? They don't know their uncle's name. What lot they live on? Don't know that too. They're outside the neighborhood. And, there has to be some kind of validation. We have to know that you're your guests. We can't take their word for it because we don't know who they are.
But then we're also opening that up then to the bed and breakfast and the B and
Yeah,
Bs.
the
Yeah,
member has to be with them.
Yeah.
They can be a guest, but the member has to be with them when they show up.
to
They can't
at least,
just bring them and
to at least
leave.
identify. If you're the grandpa, if you bring your kids down, they're of age, hey, these are my grandkids, hey, come on in. And then if they're above 12, they can leave. We know they're guests, But the thing is, you have to know they're validated guests, not just, well, I know somebody that told me I can swim here. So you gotta be careful because we do have people, B&B people outside the neighborhood. I had a carload full show up one time from outside on Indian Road, all trying to get in the pool. And they thought it was open for everybody in the South County, so. So you have to have some kind of rules to control access, who's allowed access in there. We're not trying to keep people out. We're just trying to make sure people in there are allowed in there, so. But, we're trying to keep things as working as well oiled down there as possible. I think last year it worked out pretty smoothly. I know a lot of people told me that it ran pretty good last year. So any concerns about pool parks? Anything new? No? Okay. Next, all right, we have roads and utilities, but William?
Well, hopefully everybody's been seeing a little bit of work going on around here. We dumped 15 loads of gravel around this office area. At a cost of $5,272 just for this area. We also put in 4 tin horns to help with the drainage so we won't get all this puddling. Right after a lot of that was done, it come a downpour and all that stuff worked really well. So hopefully it'll stay on top of keeping the water off that surface, all that stuff. I've had some good volunteers that I want to recognize for pitching in and help. Paul Gooden, Paul and Rachel. Paul's volunteered to kind of oversee when I can't be here, the gravel coming in and directing them to put them in the right place. Rachel, of course, putting all the Facebook posts up for him, so everyone knows what's going on. Jason Smith, Susan and John Hunt both helped out with the first round with picking up tin horns and things. Billy Bradshaw brought in some cold patch and fixed some stuff out there on the county road, basically. Jack Musgrove helped out a lot. Philip and Dora Van Dyke and Jay Reeves have all pitched in so far to help out and get some of this stuff done. We've got plans to move forward. We did do, which we haven't gotten the bill yet for. We started over here on Arrowhead, and there was a miscommunication. We accepted 3 loads of gravel and then told them to stop, and they kept dumping gravel. They ended up dumping, let's see, 15, 12, 13 more loads of gravel after we told them to stop. We're not happy with the quality of the crusher run coming out of Roberts Quarry right now. I understand you're going to get a lot of, you'll get some where this load's going to be dusty, this load's going to be rocky, and then it kind of settles out. And then you get a dusty one. Everything coming in has been really dusty. We want rock in that dust to help make the surface. So we're looking at other options to pull from a different quarry. possibly pull from both of them if Robert's Quarry gets straightened out. But, the good thing about that is we accepted the 3 loads. I discussed with the manager at Roberts Quarry, and they were able to, even though it created a ton more work, they were able to pull that gravel around, move it around, get it all flattened out. And we were able to use it, but we're only paying for 5 of those loads, past the 3. So I kind of agreed to allow that because yes, we can use the gravel. It created more work for the guys that are spreading the gravel, but the material's there and we can use it. I thought that was fair that, they ate some and we ate some as well. So,
estimated dollar amount that they had to eat for all those loads?
well, it's hard to tell because you pay, like they tell you it's an 18-ton load when it comes out. I've got some scale tickets up here. They're usually 16.3, 16.6, something like that. So depending on how heavy the load was, I think what's the load average or just the cost
17.9 and
and the
16.6.
yeah, what's the cost for does it give the cost of the
Didn't
load?
give the cost, no, they invoiced the cost, so.
Okay, so the ones I had, so. We can provide that information.
Yeah.
Basically it was what, so we did,
If those are both tickets, the price is on them.
it should. It'll make it look.
Should have a ticket shown.
Yeah, it
right?
should have the cost
I
on.
thought this was just the delivery.
Yeah.
The whole thing is about $375.
Yeah, it's about.
Yeah. And so we didn't pay for, let's see, 16, I only paid 8, so that. Yeah, I thought there were 18 over.
Well, that's including, there's 18 tickets. That includes these 3 too.
Yeah. So, yeah, the 8, is that right?
Yeah,
So let's just say 10 times 375, that's 37.
yeah.
So not knowing the exact dollar amount, 10 loads at $375 a load, they ate almost $4,000. So we got 10 loads of rock.
We got 15
Yeah,
loads.
that we didn't have to pay for.
Yeah, we got 15 loads the first time around and we paid 5,272. So that kind of gives you an idea, but like I said, with rock coming out of the core, you pay by weight. So you don't know exactly what the ticket is until you actually get it in your hand and the gravel's delivered. Moving forward, there are some areas we drove around today and looked at some areas that need attention. There's some areas that the property owners have already dug the ditches out. Those areas are going to get hit first. We're not going to continue to put rock on something that's going to wash down the road or down the hill or around the corner because of no drainage in the area. So if you have the means and you can get out there and get those ditches cleaned, we're going to hit that road first. We're going to work ditches ourselves as well, but because it's such a huge undertaking, but if you have the ability to get out there and do it, we'll hit your roads first. Because that's a dump and spread and we're done. And you've got a good road surface. So, tell your neighbors all that stuff. They can help out if they can dig their ditches out. We'll get done faster, but we'll also get to you faster. And another thing is tin horns in driveways. We drove around today and there's several areas that, you can see where the water's channeling, down to the ditch or across the road or things like that. You have to have a tin horn in your driveway. We can't go in there and put a bunch of gravel in and once again, allow it to wash away. That's you guys' money. That's my money. That's everybody in here's money. That's just, rolling down the hill and, to continue to do it over and over again. It is ridiculous. We need to get them done solid and, maintain them after that. I'd also like to get some thoughts on There's some areas that I don't know if they're abandoned properties not being used that have tin horns that are crushed, plugged. That sort of thing. My opinion, pull the tin horn out, set it in the yard, make sure the ditch is clear. I don't know how everybody else feels about that, but there's one over on, what was it? I think it was Spaniard Creek.
Yeah.
The only thing on the lot is a
trailer,
trailer frame.
frame.
That's it.
Yeah, and I knew the owner is
Nobody's been
there.
there, but the tin horn's
Yeah,
completely plugged on one end, smashed on the other end, chock full of gravel. I don't know who the property owner is, if they plan on doing anything with it, but we're not destroying your tin horn or disposing of your tin horn. We're gonna take it and put it on the lot because it's your responsibility to keep clean anyway.
and that particular lot, he talked about set of waters coming downhill instead of going through the tin horn, which is blocked, it's cutting across their lawn right down on the neighbor's property below him. And they're complaining about a lot of water coming down on the side of their property. So,
Yes, a lot of that stuff, you can just go out there and look. Okay, well, there's a trail of water there. It's going that way. I mean, it's, water's gonna take the path of least resistance. We need to make that least resistance down the ditch.
In a homeowner's perspective, the only way for them to fix it would probably be pull the tin horn out anyway.
Exactly. I mean, if the ones that are that bad, you're 100% right.
Well,
How hard is it to pull a tin horn out?
I mean, a lot of times you can grab a hold of the end of them with a backhoe.
Lift it right out.
Yeah.
Probably not good anyway. Probably
Yeah,
collapse,
if
right?
it's smashed down, or, I mean, they might be able to cut it down and, I don't want, yeah, it depends. It depends on, how deep they are too, but I mean, I've seen some of them that are just barely below the surface. You can probably hook the end of it, and pop it right out.
No.
Spaniards, that's ours, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at. Like I said, we discussed that in the board meeting. We did get credit accounts set up with APAC, for gravel, express equipment for any equipment we need. We're also looking at another quarry. We need to, as a board, need to talk about that. Because we can't keep buying material that's not gonna work. We need the right stuff. We need it to dump, to tailgate and we're not getting that right now from Robert's Quarry. We're hearing that they might be cleaning their yard up, so we're getting basically scrap from them that nobody else wants, and we're not gonna spend your money. Just not gonna do it.
Which one is that? One got in telephone?
Yeah. And like I said, that's kind of how the confusion happened on the Arrowhead deal. Paula told him, it's junk, stop. We don't want any more. He called me, talked to me. I said, yep. I mean, you're on the ground, you got the call. If you say stop, stop. Well, I called the quarry. I talked to the dispatcher at the quarry, told her what our issue was. She went and talked to a supervisor. Came back and she said, well, I've got a bobtail ready. And this was like 2 hours later. She said, I've got a bobtail ready. She said, if you want me to send it out so you can see it, we'll do that. I said, okay, go ahead. And they proceeded to bring 10, 12 more loads after that. They just didn't stop. So.
They contacted after you looked at that one.
No, they were supposed to bring that one load and that's it.
Yeah,
So
but
no,
you
they
just said that they were bringing it out for you to look at.
Right. Yeah, they were gonna dump it.
But did we contact them back after we looked at that? Because what you just said there, if I'm a dispatcher, I'm assuming that it was okay.
And you're gonna keep, and that's, I mean, and I'll take responsibility for that. No, I get it. Yeah, and I'm sure that's,
I was in a dump trucking business
Yeah.
for several years.
I'm sure that's how it went down, but
But it's contacted the day that we're here with that loan.
right. I mean, and that was, right, and that was my argument. It's like, what driver is just gonna keep dumping gravel on an existing road and put it 2 feet thick when, I mean, we're not building a road. The road's there. All we need is, to resurface it. And they knew what we were doing. The dispatchers knew what we were doing out here. I've talked to all of them. the drivers know,
Somebody else.
Yeah.
They took advantage.
the drivers know when they come out here, somebody's gonna be here and say, dump it here, dump it here, dump it here. Yeah. Yeah, they would call me every single time, and then they just turn around and start dumping gravel.
Well, normally, it sounds like they made it right, though.
They did. I'm pleased with the outcome of that, so, yeah, we're good on that.
We also get a load free from the county also.
Yeah, and then there's a load coming from the county. So did ditches, credit accounts, tin horns. So now we do have, which, I mean, this is kind of a board thing, but we do have Steve's offer for, equipment. Right now we have an account set up with Express. Anything you get from Express, the $85 delivery fee, $1,000 deposit, which you get back as long as there's no damage to the equipment, this and that. And then the cost of the rental. You get a piece of equipment from Express, it's an 8-hour per day charge. You get 8 hours on the hour meter, and you pay set fee depending on what piece of equipment you get. Steve has a backhoe and a skid steer. I've operated both of them now. They're both in great shape. He's offering the skid steer at $55 an hour, metered time. So if we use it for 2 hours one day, we're not paying the 8-hour fee from Express. We pay for what we use. And then $50 an hour on the backhoe.
What was that one again?
$50 an hour on the backhoe, $55 on the skid steer. And those, I mean, I'm gonna advocate for that for me personally, because those pieces of equipment are here. I have access to them. I've got a key to them. We can go get them, and it's a lot cheaper than.
We would be liable for fuel either.
Yeah, we do
We do
pay.
have reimburse fuel.
Because equipment breaks, I mean.
Right.
Break.
Yeah,
What normal wear and tear.
Yeah.
I take it.
yeah.
Okay, well, I've run a lot of hose.
Family stuff.
Yeah. Hoses break, I mean,
That,
yeah,
I do.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, that's what
I was gonna get to that. We're actually gonna,
Yeah, and that's fine, I just asked that, because I know, because I've run a lot of equipment, and I know.
All I have to fill the tank.
Yeah,
we're actually gonna follow basically the same thing Express wants as far as damage from misuse.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the tires get holes in them occasionally.
What tires?
Well, no, on your backhoe. It's
Well, tires on that.
Yeah,
The other has track.
yeah, but you'll eventually.
Now, the
run
tractor-
over a rock or something. Yeah, it happens, I mean,
The tracks were replaced a week ago.
yeah, no, I understand that,
And they're brand new.
yeah.
So you're good for another 3,500 hours more.
Yeah,
I
and
know how it's used.
How big is the
Yeah.
tank you think?
It's a T190. If you're familiar with Bobcat equipment, it's the middle of the line side.
Yeah,
There's about 5 sides on the track.
yeah, it's good looking, I see.
Yeah,
It's a medium size.
yeah, I just,
It's comparable to the new model, the T66. Which they outdated the T190 with the 6.
So if I need it for an hour, I'll just pay you $55.
Now, listen. When you're using it or I'm using it on the road, I charge 0.
Oh, me and you? William?
Well, yeah, William or myself, or anybody else certified uses equipment. I check it out with whoever. You show that you're responsible operator.
Right.
You help on the roads, you charge the harbor nothing for labor. Pitch in and help us. Same goes with the backhoe.
Yeah.
I get paid nothing for using that backhoe here.
Yeah.
And I own the equipment out there.
Finally found that switch on the skid steer to switch it from hand and feet to hand only. I can't do this. I ain't coordinated enough to do that. I struggled. I'm like, oh, wait, well, hold on, wait. I got it all on the handles now, so it's good to go.
Well, the tracks. Yes, the tracks, the way it stretches, you grease it with a grease gun.
Yeah.
And that's what expands the track. Like I said, we had it replaced, we had track brake. And it cost me $38.60 to do a pair of them. And I ate the cost. I knew they were gonna break. Back when I bought the machine, I insisted on it. Having the tracks replaced then.
First rental, ran every kids that they had, and every one of them tracks come on. And I checked them with grease and tight the morning.
But I
All
gotta
rock
go out
there.
and buy a battery grease
I
gun.
got one.
You got one? Okay, I don't have one yet, but I'm about to purchase one. They're about what, 400?
310.
310. I need to buy it.
Big one.
He's gonna buy yours.
I've been told. But that's how you stretch it back onto the frame. And boy, they're heavy. Those tracks weigh about 400 some pounds. You know, I watched the guy put a pair of them on. They're really quite heavy and cumbersome to get back on.
There's a trick to it, that it's hard.
It is neat. But the equipment is excellent shape. The backhoe was bought from ONG. It has new tires on it. It had low tires. They're about 50 pounds more.
Yeah.
I checked out the backhoe. It's excellent.
I just, I use the question itself, but I do that just inevitable wear and tear.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, the wear and tear. This guy will take care of it.
yeah, it's basically he's
Now
not.
you roll it off into the ditch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
he's,
That's wear and tear on you, if you roll that off the it's for on the person
I'm
inside.
gonna roll.
No, I mean, the person inside it is gonna have a lot of roll.
Yeah.
Take it on nickel.
Well, you do have a seatbelt. That means things.
seatbelt, what's that?
Huh?
I said seatbelt, what's that?
Yeah, well, they're available.
Got
on
that.
both of them.
Got that roller coaster bar in the,
It's a
in
good
the
thing.
skid steer. But- Oh, yeah, I know.
I can.
Another-
Well,
There was a need,
the backhoes get to bouncing.
and I said.
I mean, if you get them moving too much, them back tires like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you can get out of control real
And I
quick.
said, wouldn't it be nice if somebody would step up and go buy some decent equipment, bring it in the harbor, leave it here?
Yeah.
And let's keep her good.
Okay.
That's
And I decided to say, you know what, I told my wife, I said, Mary Ann, we're gonna get in the dirt business.
I'm gonna be that
She said,
person.
"What?" And I said, yeah, we're gonna get in the dirt. And I said, why would you wanna do that? And I said, well, one, it would help out some of our roads, but there's another alternative motive. I need to move some dirt from one area of the harbor on lot onto another area.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build my little workshop next to my cabin,
Oh, there you go.
but I need about 40 loads of fill. And guess what? The dump truck drivers tell me they cannot bring clay dirt in. They don't have permits to get it. That's weird. Isn't that weird? I said, would you tell me that again? He told me the same thing. I asked another opinion, got the same answer.
That's
I
fine.
said, well,
I wanna jump in.
I don't know dump trucks.
The landowner don't be permanent.
Just
They
that.
won't allow you to remain the clay.
You have to do it for personal use only. If it's for commercial use, they have to have a permit.
And they can't get permits.
There are some dump truck guys that you gotta find them, that they have access to them, but they don't, they got keeping on the deal, you know, it's not.
We used to could be able to call one and bring it in.
Yeah, that's.
In the last 2 years, I got nothing but no's rejected.
There was this landowner on the Indian Road that was selling some, that clay gravel, but, I guess the state shouldn't, you know, they found out.
Right. And Rick Walker, who I talked to, he's sure. So he says, I cannot get you any clay soil. I can't get the permit to get it. Therefore, well, I'll sell you some gravel.
Yeah, cause.
And I thought, yeah, boy, don't like for gravel. You know, instead it cost me 12,000, 24,000.
Yep.
And I thought, well, wouldn't that go a little ways toward buying some equipment? So I thought, okay.
You did put out up there, when you were doing it, right? In case somebody wanted to help.
Yeah, we're,
I thought I'd seen them, but I've really been really busy, so I didn't remember if I
yeah, well,
seen it on there.
kind of the plan moving forward, if Paul's still in, it's Paul's gonna kind of oversee the gravel coming in, and we're gonna go start digging ditches, and then I can report to Paul and say,
You have a date on y'all gonna do anything else, or
I mean,
not yet?
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
getting the difference vendor. I like to use two. I'm trying to help to see.
yeah, for sure, we'll definitely get it out there when it's gonna happen.
Sure do.
If I had a dump, I have a semi truck, but I don't have a dump trailer.
Okay, now
I would go get the gravel for it.
I have a dump trailer.
But
It doesn't
like
get
a wet,
into that
I need a wet
business.
kit on, my truck, or does it have a
Oh, you're-
hydraulic pump on the trailer?
I have it.
Huh?
Yeah, he's got like a, what is that, a 16-foot, just a
16 foot,
pickup truck. Can hold that one.
7 foot wide.
It's
2 foot
not a-
dump.
You're talking about it like,
I'm talking about a semi.
yeah, you're talking about it like an end dump or something like
Well, I didn't want to go buy a semi truck.
Saying I have one, but I
I
don't have a
don't
trailer.
want, I don't want to put a semi truck out in my front yard.
Exactly, if you strap it down good enough on that flatbed, it'll stay on.
Your husband owns his trailer, or he sold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a family that we know on the other side of Indian Road, down just a little bit. They have a huge piece of machinery, and I wish I know. Steve, John may have told you about them.
No.
I wish the harbor had the money to buy it. It's a huge piece of, did John tell you, Lynn?
Is it a dozer
It's a backhoe.
Yeah,
It's a
backhoe.
backhoe.
or a crack hole?
He said, man, he goes, I wish the harbor could buy this, and they are moving to Alaska. And
Really?
they're just gonna sell it with their property if somebody wants it, that they gave us first bids on it, and I was like. So if anybody wants a piece of equipment, I know somebody
I'll look
that would
at
be,
it.
okay. John's got her name.
A Cherokee Forest, that one?
Looking at it, I mean. You're gonna have to do.
But anyway, that's there, and that would be another piece if somebody, I mean, the harbor can't do it right now, but it's supposedly a really nice piece of machinery.
It's a Ford 750.
Oh, you got it over there? Okay.
What's it? Tell
It
me.
says, plus a few extra buckets. So he's got multiple buckets for it.
Is it the same thing like what I got, bigger, smaller, what?
I don't know.
And why would you need to?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
We get the heck of a deal that charges $50, right?
Hey,
Well, you know, $50 just basically covers my maintenance,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
you know, and I'm not in this to make a living. But I do want to see the harbor upgrade.
You need
Damn it. That backhoe will definitely dig a hole.
And
It'll dig a hole
My
quick.
road is in between my house and the fender, but one time it rained, but it don't really have any real good ditches, so it branches the road out really bad. And
Yeah.
I rented the skid steer once to just kind of fix it up a little bit, but I bought 10 of them. I was gonna put them in myself, I just haven't had the time to help a little bit, but we're gonna have to create a ditch like all the way down.
Oh, yeah. And
the
then
ditches need to be cut first.
I think we were over, which I don't know exactly where you're at, but I think we was over in your area. Cause we was over, we're over by the
Mine was
center.
Fender's Road.
Yeah.
Tell them how well the skid loader, the Bobcat.
Oh, yeah,
works
my
on
My
fresh
driveway
gravel.
was slick now. You have to come by and look at my driveway now. That's like, I guess it get a little bit of rain, I'll be rolling a ball down it.
You get a little rain on pressure run, it packs in good, and it's really hard to live by. Then your water, when you get a good rain, it won't be cutting the road. If you crown the road a little bit, it's great. The water goes to the burn ditch where it's supposed to go and goes down.
Yeah,
and
we did the,
maintain your road.
we did the one pin horn out here twice, cause it, the one end of it dumps off on somebody's property. So basically, we talked to him and said, you know, hey, this is what we need to do, divert this water. Dug the ditch, we was waiting on the tin horn to come, and then they got to looking at it and thought, I don't know if that's a good spot to do that. Well, I'm not gonna tell them, no, I already dug the ditch, it's your property. If we need to divert water off on your property, we'll work with people. I mean, so we covered that sucker in and dug it again. And
The only caution I'd give them before you start digging ditches, I would sure have a water company. mark the water
Absolutely.
line, because
Yeah,
if we
'cause I
go
was-
through one of them, you're gonna be.
I was a little nervous back here because you can see where the water meters are, and we were close. We were close.
They're not, and they're not really, they're not straight, most of them, no.
And the water company won't mark them right either.
But if they mark them,
It's their responsibility.
but if you get them to mark them, it takes their responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, what he wants to tell us.
Oh, we losing people?
Go on.
Outside of the park. I hand dug.
I'll put a lot of in order there. I'll let you run it.
I bought a ditch, really ditch. I was within my rights.
811 is the best.
And I don't know.
811 is the best friend on that.
Right, okay, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know, that's a no cost deal, and they'll just come out. Do they charge you?
You can either back all,
I don't
back all and do it, or you can go.
I don't, but I would rather.
They send out like USIC or something like that.
Okay, we good on road?
Yeah.
Good on road?
I don't have anything else on roads.
Some people.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, I mean, you might have a side conversations afterwards, be a good idea to talk about more about roads, but
Okay.
I had a particular question I had asked you to go. I think we live on one of the steepest hills in here, Flint Rock. In the county, I noticed they brought a grader and worked on it the other day. Well, people, I had asked, could it be a one-way down only road? Because people will come up it and they're just traveling, just to travel, and I don't know why, it's in the middle of the road. And they will dig a hole like 6, 10 inches deeper, and then they try and even in a fancy vehicle. And so then the road's trash, so then when it rains, it stirs up the whole thing, and the county just went and graded it. And then 2 times, when people did fly up it, we were coming down and we almost hit head on with them. Because if you get to the top and the sun's shining in your eyes.
So,
I mean, I didn't know if they're gonna wait till someone.
Yeah, Flat Rock.
Flint Rock.
Have one way down only, because we almost got hit head on twice. I mean, on a good day that it was wet, they could fly up. And yeah, it was, but yeah, that people.
What's the name of that road again?
Flint Rock.
So see if we can do it one way going down.
Down only because if people, like one person the other day went for it up before they did this and it was deep. And then they finally backed down, then they pull in our driveway. And then not long ago, a crazy person pulled it all through our driveway in a circle. And then they came banging on my door and said, we're about to hit your other vehicle, could you? And so I had to jump in and move both vehicles so they could, and not
Wow.
crash the kid's truck. And so then they were like, we'll just help you push it, we need to hurry. And I was just like, I'm like.
Need to hurry, where are you running from? Yeah, that's-
Knew them because they decided to use our drive what we can't drive on to this speed. But then they got their vehicle properties about to hit ours.
No, we had
Constantly, people go up it and they're stuck and they just keep digging. until they-
Yeah, Skyview at Flint Rock and Rifle.
Is that county, is that county road?
No, that's ours. We looked at that one today.
What was that?
Yeah, and then I just gave up.
The best was
Okay.
the paved road.
I just wondered why it had to be.
We'll have William go look and see. if
Yeah,
there's something.
is it narrow too, or is it? wide.
They.
Rifle there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask for, Sky Rifle though.
Down. they were in our yard, about to hit the propane tank. So it's just, it makes no sense why you would just cruise around, or go up it, we go down it.
Yeah.
It's not a good drive.
I see people occasionally coming out on the weekend not knowing it, but these are regular people that just sit back and, then they get about this way, then they hit the brakes. Then they try to gas it again, that's when they lose track.
They don't know how to drive that.
Right.
You gotta keep them.
But now
keep
it's,
going.
it's got news enough that it's really, really dry and loose, so if they go up, they're gonna have it torn up in no time.
Yeah.
Do you write that down, Clint? Ross?
Yeah, I got it. We actually, we were over there looking at that today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, we got Skyview, Flint Rock and Rifle Barrel. That little area right there is
Appreciate it.
gonna get some attention.
Okay,
Okay,
We
we
got
have
any
just
more?
a couple more things on new business and we'll be done. You guys have been very patient.
One question before you go there, do we need a vote on using those or what we doing? And the members on them?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure everybody knows. Yeah.
So
I just want to make sure everybody knows.
Hold on.
I agree.
You
too,
know,
but-
personally, I don't care. I
Yeah.
mean,
I just wanted to know.
if it's this quiet, it's not being, or out being, I don't care.
No.
Yeah,
I'm just making it there.
Everybody needs to know because there's gonna be money coming out of road fund going to him. Why?
Yeah, just for rental.
That's why.
You know what I would do? I'd put it back in the equipment
Yeah. That's fine.
and or go buy something else.
That's why I said, that's why I said.
That's the only reason you said that, because she's not here.
it's being recorded.
That's up to a vote or something on it.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just
Good.
transparency on where money's going.
You know,
New business?
Okay, new business.
I just had 2 or 3 things on new business. I actually had a member. This is a good thing and it can be a bad thing, but I get a lot of visits from members because I live right on Phillips Drive. And people just randomly stop and ask me things and I had a member stop and ask how the board is authorized to charge interest on, dues that are unpaid. I just want to point out, and Randy already did once, that the bylaws and restrictions are on the website, that in the bylaws under 12.01 on assessments, that's where it says that I'm not going to read all the legal jargon, but it says that the board can charge interest on unpaid dues. I think they called it assessment back in the day when they started it. But there is a place, we don't just randomly go out and just start charging interest on people. There are rules and how we can do it, when we can do it and that. So I just want to address, go to the website, the late fees is specific to Article 12.01 in the bylaws. There was, I put it on Facebook a couple times. The harbor has been hit at least twice that we know of on stolen mail. And there was some dialogue about getting lock boxes. Well, number one, that's very expensive and the harbor can't really do that right now. But also when I talked to the mail lady, Jennifer, there are rules in how far the boxes can be from the properties. So I don't know if we would qualify for that. Another little bit of information that I didn't know, she is not really supposed to deliver packages to us. She does that as a courtesy because she's a member and friends with a lot of people here. So having a lockbox or a distance where the packages are, and possibly the packages aren't, protected. She has to bid on this route, and this fly is awful. She has to bid again in September, and if she somehow loses this route, she doesn't know if whoever might win it will deliver our packages. So that's a little something, she said that she's not supposed to deliver a package if it's more than a quarter of a mile distance from the mailbox. So a lot of us may live farther than a quarter of a mile from our mailbox, and she's not supposed to bring a package any farther than, and she just does it. She says, I'm driving all over the place, I'm gonna drop it off. But anyway, just something to think about. If you can afford to buy a locked mailbox where your box is now, that would be my best suggestion right now. Last night I went to get my mail and there was a mailbox door open and it had packages in it. And I was like, I so badly wanted just to get it and take it to them, but then I didn't want to be tampering with the mail or do anything like that. But I would suggest getting a locked mailbox if you can do that.
That's interesting, though, on the packages.
Yeah, I didn't
She-
know that.
She told me most of the Amazon packages that come to this area are through US Postal Service.
Mhm. Or some guy in a budget truck
Right.
going up streets that he doesn't need to be going up.
On Arrowhead.
They go down West Canyon Rock over here.
Yeah, I saw 'em.
This truck and FedEx. West Canyon Rock.
This guy goes up Spaniard Creek and just trashes that road every time he goes up.
Well, the guy in the budget truck probably needs a little talking to.
He does, he does.
He come down my road the other day and which, I just moved and got cameras and stuff up. And I mean, there's like a dust plume behind that truck. He was flying. He was not going no 15, 20 mile an hour.
Now,
The only other thing I want to mention,
Quick.
you never have a quick question.
Well,
Go ahead.
real quick. There's one, bus operator that's working alongside the road. I mean, right alongside the road. I think you know, 40.
He's moved.
He moved it.
He moved
It's the
it.
back of his property now.
Right there, so he's still set up front lawn chairs and business there.
He has a garage sale going on today.
Oh, is it right there?
You're missing it, Steve. You're missing it.
I didn't.
He thought it was a garage. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Did that not go away?
they're in the process of moving to Alaska.
Oh, that's a
No, it's a
Or-
different,
isn't it?
different
a
family.
different
Well,
one.
this guy's talking about too.
Well, where the equipment is, it's not, they're not in the.
Oh,
cover that I was
it's
talking
different,
about.
different group, but
Okay.
still planning to.
Mary Ann, we have more equipment coming, just so you know.
I'll say you better watch what you say now. She's back.
one thing I would suggest, I thought about. I understand on digging out the tin horns that are stopped up, but I would at least make an attempt to contact the property owner.
Yeah.
So-
maybe
Oh, yeah.
Send them
Yeah,
a,
that's all
you know,
they.
an email or-
And I can help you with that. I can help you with that.
Hey, I
Yeah.
can't get my property.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not that, I mean, like at least the one I was talking about, it's a trail house frame.
But
That's all that's there.
It'll burn out.
communication with people before you.
Sure, yeah, you're right.
I
Yeah,
agree afterwards.
yeah, 100%, I agree.
I have something for new business.
Okay. Oh, you do? Okay, Lucinda's got something for new business.
The properties that have people that like the recycle dude. Is there anything we can do about those properties? Why is there trash and stuff being burning in the ditches? Why is it burning in the middle of the road and that type of thing? What can we do about those people?
Well, if you're talking about the one I'm thinking about, I did talk to him once and he
You
did,
know who I'm saying.
he did clean up a lot that was sitting right on the edge of the road. So he's in progress. I know there's another person about a block away. I'm getting on. He moved his trailer, but
Yeah, he moved his trailer,
yeah,
but-
so they are making very slow improvements. So,
But
but
he
yeah.
just brought in a bunch more stuff.
Yes,
He's not here, and I told her I'd be an advocate for her, but she lives on the back of Mill Shoe. And as you turn on that first road, there's,
the dogs and yeah,
yes, they've added on, and I'm sure it's got a code, and the janky electrical wire and stuff, and, I mean, she's only probably been in for maybe a year, she says it's already, and I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but she, she's already brought down her property value, just because she has to drive by it. And,
is there electrical line issue down there too?
Huh?
You said electrical wire?
Yeah, the.
Is it the electric company issue or?
No, these are.
There's one around that.
Yeah. Oh, okay,
Not safe at all.
yeah,
And, we're paying attention to new stuff that's coming in here and making sure that we have a, architectural form filled out or whatever. But we're not saying anything to these who are just doing whatever and not improving. I get it if it was like that, been like that for years, and now we're seeing some movement, but if this is, get an arbitration form over here, but we don't over here. I mean, are we moving forward or are we staying still? That's a concern. Just one thing.
Yeah,
Extremely gross offenders, I would say.
Yeah.
And when you was talking about the cleaning and grinding, I've not seen a whole lot of movement on people that have a messy place. I've not seen much movement on cleaning their place, really. A lot of places, an afternoon it can be done, they're not doing much. I think should move forward with the finding.
with the finding, yeah, fines are one thing they do take. It's more punitive, but they tend to look at that, yeah,
It's called leverage.
yeah.
Where are the fines located? I've looked, but I couldn't never find.
I think it's under forms on the web page. I think it's listed under forms on the web page. And you go down there and there's a form. It references the restriction and what the penalty would be. I know, like particular like abandoned cars on your lawn. Yeah. Yeah, I know it, and the actual restrictions, it mentions things such as abandoned cars a lot, or tall grass having 15 days notice. It's actually in the restrictions. A lot of the other items don't really put a time on there. We generally think 30 days to clean it up if it's not specifically listed. But some properties are so bad off, you know they're not gonna do it in 30 days. So they might have to give an additional time to do cleanups. Yeah.
That's one you mail to someone, you mail, like something like that, you know, that trailer on, yeah, the Canyon Rock, that trailer got put in. That person lives way off, you guys mailed them that form or?
Yeah, they're gonna be mailed. I've already contacted,
You can buy one that says you have to contact them by mail, right, by this letter. Can't
Yeah.
be verbal, right?
Yeah.
Process.
well, I was given a work number.
Okay, but, yeah,
and-
I can go- I'll talk to them verbally, like, you need to clean this up.
Well, just so, I would be open to everybody, you know, there was one, I'm gonna get in details, but there was one double wide placed on a lot, kind of like in the middle of the day when I was working. By the time I got off work, it was there, people were gone. I put a notice on the window, they hadn't been joined yet. But I put a notice on the window saying it was in violation and to contact me immediately to complete the architect control form. Well, about 2 days ago, they ripped it off the window and it was joined now. So I put another notice on the window to contact me, and then I got a call from a member who threatened to have me arrested for trespassing. So for putting a violation notice on the window. So, but anyway, you know, it's not all, you know, roses and stuff out there when you're trying to get people to do things they're supposed to do.
To the owners, ladies and doctor, she said she's gonna try to straighten it out. I don't think it was them.
Yeah,
I think it was their yard.
yeah, I knew you talked, well, we know, Yeah, we
Nice way to
know.
put it, Paul.
but you know, I try to be, I don't want to fine them immediately because it's $100 fine monthly, but I'm trying to get them to just submit the paperwork. It looks like it's within the setbacks and everything. Just get the paperwork so I can say it was done legally. That's all I'm asking for. And
But what about the ones that have vehicles and boats?
Right.
and Golf carts and stuff like that that's been there for years, and are they being fined?
not yet, no. There've been no fines going out to anybody. We had one fine went out to a person with a continuously loose dog. And at their request, we canceled that one. But we really haven't been putting actual fines because I really want them to do it on their own after some, you know, I really want to, but
You said
They-
that this is like, you said this before.
Yeah.
This is months ago.
Yeah.
right,
That's
I
not.
think it's time to move forward.
right. Yeah, you're right. It is time to start. The people you give multiple warnings to, after a few warnings, you know they're not gonna fix anything, and that you take the next step. But I know there's gonna be pushback and a lot of angry people and, you know,
There's gonna be more people that are gonna be angry when they find out in 2024.
Right.
that we're insolvent and have to find bankruptcy because there's no money coming.
right.
And
Yeah,
that is gonna
that's-
happen. You said that there was $47,000 for next year's spending, and we spend $7,000 a month. Did the math, we'll run out before July of 2024.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
that there will be no more community center, there will be no swimming pool, there will be no craft services. This will all go away, and the state will take over.
And that's
So we need to figure out how we're gonna get this money in.
right.
We should be fine.
Are we doing foreclosures anymore?
We have one going right.
We have one in progress right now. I've already mentioned it. Yeah,
After May 1st, I'm going to try to go ahead and do some more liens against properties that people are just not doing anything about. So I'm gonna try to do that.
Okay.
this one was a test bed. We wanted to go through the legal process to get all the steps of we have to go. And it takes about a year and a half to get through one of these things.
Before we spend more money on a bunch of
Yeah,
foreclosures, we want to
'cause-
see what happens. We wanted to see the process all the way to the end.
Because the legal filings, the lawyers, you have to spend money to foreclose to get money back too.
Yeah.
So,
That one was a cakewalk, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. Pretty much because he had already passed and there was no one claiming the property. But the next one will be tougher, especially if they fight back, so.
My understanding from some of the board meetings, though, that our attorneys we have hired is not really doing any work for us anyway too much. That's been a problem anyway. Right?
I think he has knowledge, it's the customer service, the follow through, the call us back, keep us updated, that's
But it's
really struggled with him.
paid for it.
Oh, yeah, he's doing a job. It's just, we don't always get follow up and,
Gotta rattle that chain. off.
yeah, I think we want to look elsewhere if we need attorney. Then we're gonna let him finish what he started just because we're invested at this point, but we've talked about trying to find somebody else. So,
He's got larger clientele with more money and we're kind of near the bottom, but we're trying to get it. We want to be moved up along with everybody else, of course. Did you have a question?
Back to what Senator first started this conversation with the cleanup and everything, and what relating to what he's saying and what you're saying. Maybe we should add another volunteer, like there's me, you, and Jeff on the architecture permit. We're so busy right now dealing with just new stuff that comes in, and we don't have time to go hardly deal with old stuff that needs cleaned up, per se. So maybe we should add another volunteer, or maybe, I think we have a process that's already in place, but maybe we just need to follow it. I know you're being nice and trying to let people clean up, and if they do, that's fine. But I think we need a form that says, okay, you have 30 days to clean this up. If not, we're gonna go to the next step. Where there's no talking, like I can go anywhere in this harbor and talk to anybody and say, hey, you need to clean this up because you're in violation. But that doesn't do anything. Yeah, if they're good citizens of the community, they're probably gonna clean it up. If they're not, unlike some that I spoke with, they haven't done anything. That's why no talking, just handle paper, and that's it. And if they don't follow, then go to the next step.
You can always adjust the paper too, if they're showing progress. You can say, all right, we'll give you another 15 days. Something like that. But I think documentation is key.
Right, because example, my neighbor jumped everywhere, and then not only that, his storage building is on my property. and
His
I've
shed.
asked him to move it 100 times. Then my next step was, if we can't do that with the harbor, my next step was gonna be, get a lawyer and legal survey and that route, but.
Yeah, I spoke with him and he said he is going to be moving his shed.
But it's been like this.
Yeah.
I've talked to him for 2 years, but.
Oh, okay.
He's got his shed on your property.
No, what it was, I guess. You had a survey done and then,
Not an actual legal survey, just depends.
Yeah, I mean, they thought the line was here when it actually was over here about 2 foot, 3 foot maybe.
Yeah, plus it's gotta be another.
Yeah, so the line moved.
Setback.
So now he's too close to the property line.
Actually, two.
So,
One's over the line, one is on the line.
And he keeps adding on to them
Yeah,
instead
and
of,
he's the one that brings dumpster dives and brings junk in. It's a business. Yeah, that looks bad.
Do you have any more new business?
I only have two more little things. One question that was turned in was why doesn't the Hills have to help maintain Forest Road? That is a county road.
road.
We aren't gonna pay for Forest Road and the Hills is not gonna, even though trucks going to their property is tearing up our road, we can't do anything about it. So I wanted to address that. I had a member ask, I want to request something be added to bylaws that would prevent people from turning their lots into dumps. Well, you need to go to restrictions. There are some restrictions and we're talking about it now and I think we are all on the same page. We need to get more aggressive with getting some of this resolved. So we're gonna try to do that. Member said, let's have a cleanup day, but we did that today. So I think that's it. I think that's all I had. I do see, and this is first opinion, Susan. I do see a small momentum of this community getting more involved, and that's what we need. And hopefully in 2024, we're still going to be here. It's not going to be easy. We didn't get here overnight. And I'm going to do my part. If it's sitting up at the office, making phone calls, telling people I can't take your check, but let's do it this way. I'm going to try to get as much money collected as I possibly can. We've had a couple things happen in the last couple days. That's going to generate hopefully some income for us. And we still got to talk about that, look into it a little bit. But I just really want this to be a community where you treat your neighbor like your neighbor, you know, and let's help, you know, and I'm seeing more and more volunteering and it's not a big movement, it's small baby steps, but it's a beginning. I mean, I think with members seeing some action on the roads, that helps and Paul stepping up and all the men that went out and helped to do that. I mean, people think that and at some point they're going to say, I want to do my part, even if it's just picking up around their own house, you know, if these people we're talking about will see that we're that unhappy, maybe in a perfect world, I know the world's not perfect, but they would just do their part in their own little part of the harbor. That would be great, you know. Anyway, that's all I had.
I had one question. Are we renting the pool to the dive shop again?
Yes, they bring in
Yes.
$1,600 a year, which helps, but yeah,
They sign, I don't think they've given us a check yet, but I'd have to double check their account, but they do want to move forward.
it was like September, October last year when they voiced their interest in renewing their agreement for this year. Like I say, the $1,600 they give us helps us pay for those chemicals. Those chemicals are around 2,000 a year, the chemicals alone, and it does help keep the pool open. And I haven't received any complaints off anybody concerning them. They're mostly in there when the pool's closed anyway. And there's just a little overlap once or twice, you know, once a week or so. But I haven't heard any complaints and it gives an opportunity for people in the neighborhood to even get the training. If they want to get scuba training, it's right here locally, just down the street, you know.
The only time I've been in there when they were still in there and they're respectful, so
Yeah,
they're not bothering me and I'm not bothering.
yeah, it's a win-win situation. And so it seems to work for everybody. So
I don't have any coverage in here. I can tell you right now if they paid or not. I don't think they
I don't
paid,
think
but
they have.
yeah, but
yeah, they would.
they're going to, they're good for it. So in fact, they added a day or two last year, didn't they? And they paid immediately. So payment's not an issue from them. So
And they pay through the app.
yeah, and it's a good trade for us because it helps pay for all those chemicals and everything. So
Any other issues anybody like to discuss before we conclude?
Throw marijuana in here. What's the law on that? I mean, some people got right off on the side of the
Well,
we'll save that for another meeting.
yeah, there's some growing wild on the edge of people's properties.
State law is you can't, should be able to see it, if anybody can see it.
Yeah, if you can see it from the roadway. Yeah.
Where's on the road? I wouldn't even know if I was going. I wouldn't even know what road to find.
Yeah, there's certain requirements for, I mean, they're allowed to grow, but there's certain
Yeah,
requirements
there are
for- to
restrictions.
be
around
out of
it.
sight and
Turn it into the Harbor
not
Patrol. and-
easily accessible to somebody walking by to pick it up.
I don't disagree. I think when people see it, need access.
Exactly.
It brings in some people who don't need to be in, like I said, I swim.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
needs to be cut down or burned down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So-
And they can get that stuff to grow real tall, but I can't get flowers to grow. Yeah,
Well, that, somebody raised somebody's grow or, you know, depending
that's
on
on them.
what they're
Yeah.
allowed to grow. That gets around and, you know,
Right.
so then they're gonna come looking.
Okay,
Oh, they-
yeah, can I get a motion from everybody, to conclude this meeting then? A second, everybody say aye, once to conclude, okay, so we got an aye. Thanks for coming, guys. Hey, if anybody wants a pay slip,
Thank you for coming.
meet you over the office if you need a pay slip. So I'll be right over there. Thanks for being here, guys.